Hello, hello. Shagat the Known here. Welcome back to Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker here on the 25th of March, 2023, local time 10:18. Let's not waste any time here. A little late, unfortunately. Had some issues that I had to take involving even getting started here with OBS and all that. I don't know what it is recently. It's just giving me a lot of issues that it wasn't for a while. So I'm also on a little bit of a time constraint. The latest I could go is 14, but I probably want to be done by like 13:30. So I don't know how much we're gonna get done here because oh, what's up, Cecile? I just want to make sure I take care of a lot of the like briefing stuff. So I'm not gonna explicitly start with any missions yet. We're gonna be doing a bit of dialogue here. So in fact, I'm just gonna pick. I should just pick the Chrysalis. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to do the mission, but I want to get access to the briefings. There might be another way to do it, but this works. So we have a lot of things still to take care of here. Interesting. Okay, let's just start cutting through a lot of this, and it might take a little bit. I might spend half an hour or more doing this, probably more. But I want to definitely get through a lot of this and make sure we get all the context and story that we have. Maybe I'll leave a little bit. I'll probably skip like the co-op thing though, because I'm not going to be doing that. But I might listen to it at some point.
The new plan is a hex type. That gives it more surface area than previous types, and also makes it easier to plan expansions. We're going to make this place huge.
Hex, huh? Like a beehive.
Nothing wrong with that. They say the honeycomb design is one of the strongest. I hear they're even thinking of using it in tank armor.
Good enough for me. I'll see about finding us some worker bees.
Appreciate it, boss.
By the way, Kaz, who do you think's our queen bee?
Good question. I was thinking maybe Poss.
I was thinking Strangelove.
Well, I can see that. Or maybe Cecile.
On second thought, I might go with Amanda.
How about this, Snake? We'll have an army of queen bees.
Sure. Why not?
Okay. MSF.
You know, Snake, you're right. As long as we're soldiers without borders, we're going to be a target. We need our own deterrent.
Yeah, we're going to be stepping into a lot of different conflicts as we roam the world, each one unique, and with its own set of geography, ideologies, and politics. If we're going to intervene in those kinds of situations, we need the threat of a Metal Gear.
Unless we want to end up like Che Guevara did in Bolivia.
Well said. Our army without borders doesn't have a land to call home. We're nomads, wanderers. What we need now is a sheepdog to guard our flock.
Right.
Maybe it's not the way the boss would have gone about it, but there are places in this world that need us, and soldiers that need MSF. And as long as we're needed, we'll keep on moving. Ours is a journey that never ends. We're the real Peace Walkers.
Alright, looks like we're good on some of these. Let's just minimize that. We do have a lot, but I think some of them are going to be pretty inconsequential. That was a little bit more, that's kind of character building and lore building and stuff. But I think some of them are going to be kind of just quick and dirty, easy ones. This one might be good. CIA-KGB relationship.
Can you believe the CIA and KGB were actually in cahoots?
Never thought I'd see that at the station chief level. But I'd heard stories of operatives in the field being on friendly terms.
Seriously?
Most espionage takes place in political hotspots, as you'd expect. But there aren't that many of those kinds of places, especially in a small country. Hang around long enough, and you're bound to run into fellow spies. Like it or not. You start saying hello, and soon enough you're eating dinner together.
Strange bedfellows, huh?
Well, I don't know about that. At any rate, this kind of fiasco is what happens when spies get too familiar. Hard to believe, but some people will betray anyone and anything if it suits their interests.
The strength of human is in its appeal to human emotions. but its weakness is in its susceptibility to those same emotions. That's why the tide in the intelligence world is shifting towards SIGINT, a network of cold, digital data, where feelings are irrelevant.
It's one thing that's on my mind right now that's always bothered me. It's piecing together the whole, I don't know if timeline is the word, but it's always bothered me since, well, I don't know, since I played the original Metal Gear Solid, because there was no other game to have context with. But for a long time now, Liquid had a line where he said Big Boss was in his late 50s when they made his, I think he said late 50s when they made his copies, you know, we're vintage material or whatever. Actually, was that Liquid in Metal Gear Solid 2? Was that Liquid Ocelot? That feels like Metal Gear Solid 2 actually. But the point is, when you go back and you play, well, go back I guess, but when you play Metal Gear Solid 3, that establishes some idea of a timeline of when he would have been born. But this game actually locked it in, because Hot Coldman actually called out his age, and that locks in a relative birth year. I mean, it depends on, it locks between one of 2 years depending on when his birthday is, right? And he was a bit younger. I think I don't remember the exact numbers, but I think it would have made him be born in 35 or something, and that's a little bit later than I always thought it would be. But it was always kind of crazy to me, thinking about that line where he said, you know, Big Boss was in his late 50s when they made his copies. And I feel like that's kind of been retconned now, because I believe we already have a timeline of when the Les Enfants Terribles project took place. And I hope I'm not bringing in things from, you know, things we haven't seen, but I think we already know, like, when that took place, and that doesn't line up with that line about him being in his late 50s. So there's some kind of oddities there that, I mean, it could just be a retcon, it could be whatever. Hell, the way this game is, Kojima could say, oh, he had bad numbers, right? He was mistaken. The character was mistaken, not me. But that line always bothered me, because I'm thinking, how the hell old is Big Boss at the end of 4, right? I was thinking he had to be like 90 something, but no, he's like 80 years old, I think. Which is still old, but it's a little bit less old. And seeing him do like the CQC and stuff, I was thinking, like, a 90-year-old man doing that's crazy. Now, what does it mean for him to be 80 or 90 when he died and was brought back and kept as a biomort for years, you know, kept in that suspended state for years? What does it really mean to be that age? You know, I mean, that raises a lot of questions, you know, how his body would have aged differently than somebody else. But I don't know why that's on my mind right now. I guess it's just, you know, thinking about two kind of conflicting pieces of information. And I was listening to The Voice, and I saw someone in a comment one time mention that they described the voice that David Hayter used here as the old Snake voice, and it had me thinking about his age some more. I don't know, I'm kind of rambly a little bit, but I hope I got my point across, where it feels like there's some inconsistency there between a couple of the games. And this, to my knowledge, is the first time we actually had it lock in an exact age. But, you know, the context clues I'd been using in the past was like the Bikini Atoll tests, where he would have to be at least a certain age to be at those tests, because you know, you're not going to be there at 10 years old as a soldier, right? You have to be at least 18 to actually be a soldier and be there involved in those tests. So that locks in like a minimum age, but I always assumed he would have been a little bit older. But I think if I remember the numbers right, because I did look into it a little bit more after the stream, I reconfirmed. This was like last week, so I've forgotten some of the details. But if I remember right, he would have been basically like 18 or 19 when that happened, so he was pretty young. I always thought he was maybe more like in his mid-20s when that happened. Oh my goodness. Yeah, everything about Che.
So I hear Amanda mistook you for Che Guevara, Snake. That's not too bad, huh?
Yeah, right. I'm not even worthy of polishing his boots.
Don't be so modest. From where I'm standing, your men see you as a great man.
As great as the century's most complete human being.
That's Sartre, right? Well, there's hardly been a more iconic figure of his times than Che.
Oh, he was more than that. He was a true revolutionary and a great warrior.
I'm with you there. Can you believe that when he first went to Cuba with Fidel, they had only 12 guys with them?
But they rallied. They brought in new recruits, won the support of the peasants, expanded their organization.
And in the end, they overthrew the Batista regime.
People flocked to them because they were honest. They won because they were strong. Those are the qualities that make men great.
You know, we're kind of in the same boat they were back then. Here we are, a handful of mercenaries taking on an army backed by the United States.
Yeah, we've got a long way to go.
But we've got to keep on going. It's not just about winning in battle. You need to think about recruiting people and growing this operation.
Got it.
Yeah, but we also have way more than 12 guys.
Hey, Snake, I've been thinking. Maybe Che couldn't find a place for himself outside the battlefield either.
How so?
He led the Cuban Revolution to victory. That's quite an accomplishment. He could have called it quits there and nobody would have blamed him. But he left behind a loving family and a cabinet post to plunge back into the struggle. First in the Congo, then in Bolivia where he met his end.
You're overthinking things. Che went back to the battlefield because he was needed there. Read his farewell letter, then you'll understand.
Some say he was too idealistic to fit in with the government.
Too many scruples, most likely.
Maybe so, but I still can't help thinking the reason you look up to Che is because you see something of yourself in him. You left your country behind and plunged into battle. You wander from one battlefield to another, going wherever you're needed.
Che was a revolutionary as well as a warrior. He took up arms to fight for his beliefs. I don't do what I do for any ideology. I'm a warrior. Nothing more, nothing less.
Okay, boss, you're right. Just wanted to see how we stacked up against a real hero. Boss, did you ever read Che Guevara's book, Guerrilla Warfare?
I can't remember if I got to that one or not.
You should have. That's why I lent it to you. A lot of the guerrilla tactics it covers apply to sneaking missions too. Che was one of the first people to articulate the theory of guerrilla warfare. C.E. Lawrence of Arabia, was another one. And Mao Zedong and his On Protracted War. Theory aside, Nicaragua's General Sandino was one of the first to put guerrilla tactics into practice, which explains why the Sandinistas named themselves after him.
If you think about it, guerrilla warfare itself has been around since ancient times. There's only so many ways a small group can upset a large army.
There was a samurai in Japan who excelled in guerrilla warfare.
No kidding.
Tsunoki Masashige. He was a warrior who lived in the medieval era. He used unconventional tactics to help overthrow the Kamakura shogunate.
Like what?
Trojan horse-style maneuvers and decoys to confuse the enemy. The best one was when the enemy was climbing the castle walls. He dumped boiling water and human excrement on them.
Sounds great. Let's put it in the MSF playbook.
You're not serious, are you, boss?
Why not? We've got plenty of crap to unload.
Yeah. I'll think about it.
Sure thing, boss.
What's wrong, Kaz? You sound beat.
Yeah, the problems never seem to end around here.
You should take a break. Share a cup of mate with the other guys. It'll give you a
They
chance
didn't put the accent on the
I
subtitle.
wonder if Che and his men ever sat around and drank mate.
I bet they did. Che was famous for his love of the stuff.
Oh, man, whoever thought of this was a genius. You can put it in a gourd and carry it around, and there's a special straw with a filter attached so you can drink it any time.
That's not all. It's full of essential vitamins and minerals, too. Nice to have in a guerrilla war when food is short.
Yeah. Wish I had a chance to share some with the blonde Parisienne when I was out hiking.
Well, how do you know about that?
It takes a thief. Or should I say it takes a snake to know one. Snake.
I mean, Cecile, though, I'm just saying.
The year the Cuban Cuban Revolution was won, Che visited Japan as a member of an economic delegation. While he was there, he visited Hiroshima.
Hiroshima.
Since he was there to discuss economic issues, Hiroshima wasn't part of the original itinerary. Some said the Ministry of Foreign Affairs didn't want to let him go, but he went anyway. He snuck out of his hotel and took an overnight train.
Huh. Traveling guerrilla style. Sounds like Che, all right.
He visited the Peace Memorial Museum and the Atomic Bomb Survivors Hospital. Apparently it gave him quite a shock. As a doctor, it must have been painful for him to see how the victims suffered.
Nukes destroy everything.
He was quoted as saying, "They put you through this, and still you do whatever America says." Those words really hit me hard, especially when I think of my mom. He said something else, too. Let us all love Hiroshima and its people.
I can believe it. Che never managed to numb himself to other people's pain. That's why people loved him. And why he died.
That bandana you're always wearing, that thing's a real antique. Ever think about getting a new one?
This one's fine.
Come on, we can't have our boss wearing a raggedy old thing like that.
It was a gift, okay? It wouldn't be right to get rid of it.
It was. Okay then. Speaking of which, Che supposedly had a black scarf he used to take everywhere with him.
A scarf?
One of his comrades gave it to him when he broke his arm in battle. Che used that silk scarf as a sling, and the comrade who gave it to him became his second wife.
Okay.
All right.
Even after his arm healed up, he never went anywhere without that scarf. What about you? You get that bandana from someone special?
No, nothing like that. It's important to me. That's all.
I mean, we know. Tell me about yourself, Kaz. Master Miller.
March 10th, 1945. 381,300 cluster bombs were dropped on Tokyo.
That's a lot.
Japanese houses at the time were almost all made of wood. In that single day, a third of Tokyo burned to the ground. My mom lost her family and home in that raid. She had to move to Yokosuka and live with her cousin. The B-29s kept on coming, razing other major cities throughout Japan without mercy. Then, in August, they dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and Japan surrendered to the United States at last. After that, Yokosuka was flooded with American soldiers come to occupy the country. My mother was still in her mid-teens, and she learned from her cousin how to survive in that town, by servicing the troops. That's how she met my father, and how I was born. My father was an officer serving with the government section of Allied GHQ under General Whitney. Whitney was known as MacArthur's shadow, and my father rode his coattails to a pretty high rank. While he was in Japan, he treated my mom like a wife. After he went back to the States, though, she never heard from him. I wasn't born until after he went back. My mom raised me as a single mother. She used the money my father left her to open a shop selling cigarettes and stuff to occupation troops. It was a decent living, but I didn't have citizenship. They're working to change the law now, but back then if your father was unknown, you couldn't get onto the Japanese family register. And in Japan, that means you can't be Japanese. So as I watched the American soldiers around town, I said to myself, I'm a son of America, the victor. My hair and eyes were different from the skinny, downtrodden Japanese around me. I told myself I'd leave this country someday and return to my true homeland. When I was around 10 years old, my mom fell ill, pretty much leaving me to run the shop in her place. One day I found a single picture of my father in the back of a drawer in the shop. I'd show it to the American soldiers who came into the store. A few years went by before one of them told me who he was. I know him, that's Miller. I started asking other guys, do you know where Miller is now? Can anybody tell me where Colonel Miller is now? Turns out he'd left the service and was making a living as an instructor for soldiers in Virginia. It was one of his students who finally told me that. I wrote him a letter in English. I'm your son. I want to go to the United States. Day after day I waited. Then just when I was about to give up, the post office delivered my future to the door. My father sent me some money. I thought my dream was going to come true. I was only thinking of myself. So I went to my bedridden mother and convinced her to let me go. My father arranged for a car to pick me up. It was jet black. When the neighborhood kids who'd always made fun of my hair saw it, their jaws practically hit the ground. I put my mom in a hospital and went on my own to America. When I met my father for the first time, he was living alone in a big house. He told me he'd lost his son, his American son, in Vietnam. He showed me a picture of my older brother. I guess that and his divorce left my father feeling lonely, which is probably why he finally took an interest in me. He'd retired from teaching. He was stooped over, could hardly walk, but he gave me two things: the name Miller and money for school. I used it to learn English and then go to college. America was exhausted from years of fighting in Vietnam. They were waging war in a foreign land, while at home, people were screaming for peace. Right after I graduated, I went back to Japan, alone. My father refused to see my mom. It was the first time I'd seen her in years, and she wouldn't even look at me. At first, I thought she was mad at me, but that wasn't it. Disease had taken her mind. A disease she got while she was young and desperate. She didn't even know who I was. I said, "Mom, it's me, Kazuhira." As I spoke, the sound of my own voice rang in my ears. Katsuhira, the name my mom gave me. It means peace in Japanese. I was Japanese. At least, I was the son of this tiny Japanese woman. It was then, for the first time, that I understood the reason, the emotion that inspired my mother to give me that name. She'd watched her hometown and family go up in flames. Her body and her mind were ravaged by war. And yet she chose to have a child named Peace, with a man who was once her enemy. Japan lost the war. But what good is war as a measure of a country? Since the war and up until the oil shock last year, Japan's economy has grown every single year. It's on its way to becoming a stronger country than ever. I stayed in Japan and joined the JSDF. I was 22 at the time. I did it to pay our bills. But it wasn't just that. I could have found work anywhere, and I knew it. And still, I couldn't think of anything else to do with myself. 2 years later, I didn't have to worry about Mom's hospital bills anymore. I left the JSDF and went back to the States. My father was already dead and buried. I was told he'd shot himself in the head. America crushed Japan, but it also crushed my father. My American dream was over. After that, I drifted around and, well, you know the rest. GHQ made women like my mother. It made Japan's peace constitution and the JSDF. And it made me. I was spawned by war, but I don't want to die in one. I won't die for a country, and I won't live like a pauper. I won't have my fate decided by some family register. So as long as I stick with you, boss, I've got a good feeling none of that will happen.
Wow. That was a beefy boy, but that was really good. That was really good. That told me a lot about his history that I honestly didn't know. And as long as that was, it was also very concise in that it really summed up his entire life in a lot of ways. At least upbringing, as it was called. It really summed up a huge portion of his life, but explained a lot of his motivations. And again, just told me a lot that I never knew about him. You know, I might have heard this sometime in the past, but none of it's familiar to me. So that was very interesting. I guess, as I said, it explains a lot about him, and I didn't realize he was so conflicted about, I guess, who he is, you know, where he, I guess, wasn't proud of being Japanese at the time when he was young, and he wanted to be an American. He, you know, he felt like an outcast in his own country, and he said, "No, I'm an American. I'm you know, a son of the victor, and I want to go to America and live that dream." You know, it's really interesting, and it also, I think, does explain a lot about how he, you know, kind of started getting his roots in the U.S., because obviously he works very closely with the U.S. Later on in the series, right, where we know he was essentially a Foxhound instructor, right? Where that's how Solid Snake was familiar with him. So he definitely has a lot of ties back to the U.S. from his father being an officer, was a colonel. So not just any, being a colonel. I don't know how high ranking that really is, but I don't know my ranks that well. But there's a lot of I don't know if nepotism is the right word, but there's a lot of that where familial ties can definitely get you somewhere in those kind of roles. Yeah, what's new here that we care about? Oh, that's right. That reminded me of something I wanted to mention. After the last session where we beat Peace Walker, I was very frustrated with that boss, and I went to look some stuff up, and I completely forgot that we got the battle dress. Like, I remember getting it, and I was like, oh crap, I forgot all about that, because I was, just thinking about the sneaking suit and its, damage reduction properties and stuff. But of course the battle dress exists, and what you can do with the battle dress is it lets you carry a third weapon that probably would have made the Peace Walker boss fight a lot easier. And I'm going to guess, because it's armored and stuff, that it's going to also reduce damage, probably more than the sneaking suit, but I'm not 100% sure. It definitely, I don't know, we haven't looked at it, but I'd bet my left dick that it probably also lets you carry more ammo than the sneaking suit, so it would have resolved a lot of issues. But I unintentionally handicapped myself a little bit. The issues that it wouldn't have resolved are some of the things like the Tokyo Drift moments of the boss, where it'd be zooming around from one end of the battlefield to the other, or when it jumps and you basically don't have much time to get away. If it decides to jump in your position, you really can't get away from it, as far as I could tell. I mean, you can't really tell where it's going to jump. That's the thing, and you kind of lose sight of it once the camera goes up. So it's either going to jump somewhere else or where you're at. And all you can do is just run around and hope it doesn't get you. And even if it doesn't land on you, if it lands too close to you, you do that really long Monster Hunter style animation that just takes ages. Or if it roars, I don't think the battle dress would fix that. But it would have fixed a lot of the other issues I had. And that maybe second attempt I did, where I almost beat the boss, but I ran out of ammo and I ran out of supply drops, I probably would have won if I had a third weapon.
The battle dress uniform is the opposite of the sneaking suit in that it's specialized for combat. It lets you carry plenty of weapons and ammo and provides excellent protection. Not the best choice for sneaking, but if you feel like playing one-man army, this is the uniform of choice.
Looks pretty damn heavy.
It is. You won't be able to move as fast with it on, meaning it's not good for running away either. Keep that in mind.
I watched a boss fight. I watched a video of that boss fight, and they were doing it in co-op, and they smoked it. Like 4-player co-op just was so fast, because it doesn't like change the balancing of the boss, which I actually like. I hate when games are like, you added more players, we need to make everything harder now. No, I like the idea of not adjusting for more players, but it was just kind of funny to see.
The sneaking suit is a specialized uniform for stealth missions. It provides excellent camo in any stage. Even better, you won't make a sound when you walk.
Ooh, so I won't need to tiptoe all the time.
And to top it off, it also makes your wounds heal faster. The fabric exerts just the right amount of pressure on your body to help stop bleeding.
Huh. Not a bad little trick.
I had a little bit of a hard time hearing that. Did he say not bad a little trick? Did he say the wrong line?
Snake, the R&D team came up with something new.
What's this?
It's a cardboard tank. It's got enough room for 2 people. Same as any other cardboard box. Apparently the guy in front drives, and the guy in back is the gunner.
Hold on, Kaz. Who the hell came up with this thing?
I'm sorry, boss. He meant well, I swear. I know it's nowhere as good as a real tank, but still.
It's brilliant.
Huh?
The perfect synthesis of stealth and attack power. Compact, elegant design. The finest example of a weapon I've ever seen. Seriously, Kaz, I need to meet the guy who made this. I want to shake his hand.
You serious? Snake, look at it.
It's a masterpiece in every sense of the word. You don't agree?
No,
What is that? A tank? I like it.
Paz?
I hate tanks, but this one I think I could get used to. I love that it's a zero-emissions vehicle. It will not hurt the forests of Costa Rica.
What?
Nice work, Kaz. I see I made the right choice making you second in command.
But is there something wrong with me?
Alrighty. Alright, we are almost done. Well, maybe not. Well, with
Amanda and her
cause.
crew tell me they've managed to identify several different categories of mercenaries employed by the CIA.
Give me a rundown. Sounds like info I could use.
No problem. I'll go through them in order. The type of enemy you'll be seeing most is the type that patrols and guards a specific operational area. For the sake of convenience, Amanda's crew calls the outdoor ones patrolmen.
How do I never
and the
hear
indoor
this?
ones guards. They might look like they're just out for a stroll, but don't be fooled. They're sharper than they look. All of their senses are finely honed. Normally, they'll patrol along fixed routes, but when the alert level is raised, they'll assume a more efficient alert posture and focus on defending specific points. That's bad for you. Obviously, they can hold their own in combat, and with body armor, it'll be even harder to take them down. If they're wearing a bulletproof helmet, you can forget about one-shot kills. Just a heads up. You'll need to
No,
be
we're good.
smart about using camo and pick your routes. The most important thing is to avoid detection.
I didn't realize that the sneaking suit just negated footsteps. Yeah, footstep sounds. That's good to know. I've been sneaking more than I needed to.
There are areas out there where enemy soldiers are deployed in multiple layers for extra coverage. More than a few of those will be attacking you from a distance, rooftops and far-off vantage points. Try not to get too distracted by nearby enemies, because you could be leaving yourself wide open to longer-range attacks.
I'll be careful.
We know there are variations in the kinds of gear patrolmen and commandos wear, especially the body armor. Our scouts report that an enemy's defense and firing accuracy are directly proportional to how heavy their gear is.
Those must be the guys with the highest combat skills. They can fight in heavier gear without their performance suffering.
Supposedly, it's pretty easy to tell the difference in gear just by looking.
Yeah.
So remember, use extra caution when dealing with enemies wearing heavy gear.
Supposedly. Alright, what is battle range? Oh, just weapons, okay.
Enemies will try to fight you from different distances based on the weapon they've got equipped. When you meet an enemy, get a good look at what they're carrying. It can make or break your chances in battle. Enemies carrying handguns and shotguns will try and get in close. That makes them dangerous, but at the same time, easier to hit.
It's pretty basic
Keep your
stuff. Like I
wits
said,
about
some of
you,
these are not
and
really
you can
going to be
turn a
that
threat into an opportunity.
great. But we'll get them out of the way. I'm not doing co-ops,
Enemies carrying assault
as in I'm not
rifles and
playing
machine
those, so I
guns
haven't
will
bothered
usually
with
fire
the
at you from farther
dialogue
away.
for them.
Use whatever cover you can find, then return fire with a few well-placed shots of your own.
I wanted horribly placed shots. Shoot them in the big toe.
Don't expect enemies carrying sniper rifles or rocket launchers to get up close and personal. They'll be constantly moving from place to place looking for an opening to snipe at you. Tricky bastards. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Go with the sniper rifle. Make sure you stay out of their line of sight, and when they expose themselves, take them down.
Alright. Who's next? One moment.
Galvez was a KGB spy? I thought he helped me out of genuine concern for Costa Rica's future.
You didn't know.
How could I? Believe me, Snake. He introduced himself as a peace researcher at the university. He had an office and credentials and everything.
They're masters at creating cover personas. They think of everything. ID papers, jobs, sometimes even families. Don't feel bad you didn't see through it.
But you did?
From the first time we met.
I wish you had told me.
Sorry. I didn't know if it'd be right. You might have gotten mixed up in things you shouldn't.
That is impressive, though. Sizing him up at a single glance.
He reeked.
Reeked?
He had this unmistakable air about him. The air of someone who's been given a mission and will see it through no matter what. Like me. I could just smell it.
That is amazing, Snake.
I'm just kidding. It was his prosthetic hand.
CCCP.
Why would a professor from a peace university need a tool for assassination?
It was marked.
I have a favor to ask you, Snake.
Name it.
I want you to give me a job here. I want to help out.
You sure? You just went through a hell of a time. You should probably take it easy until you're settled.
Thank you. But there must be something I can do. You would not want me near a gun. But I am a decent cook.
Now there's a skill we can use.
Put me on the mess hall team. I think I can handle it. Once I get used to it, I will even add in some Costa Rican recipes.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, short and sweet. We have a lot here potentially. I don't know how much of these we did before. Because there was a point where I was like, all right, we'll catch up with some of these later. And I kept doing it. I expected Strangelove here. So we'll make some progress. I don't know how many we'll finish yet today. But I'm definitely going to be finishing them tomorrow. I do think I'll be able to beat the game tomorrow. So, you know, we'll want to make sure we do everything.
Since it was founded, my country has not once been able to choose its own path. First Spain, then America. Over 100 years of this.
Oh, we did some with Huey.
In the 19th century, an American mercenary named William Walker seized power in Nicaragua.
I'd heard he exploited rivalries between the political parties.
Even after we expelled him, the Americans sent in their Marines under the pretext of quelling political unrest.
And the real reason?
To intimidate the government and thwart the construction of the Nicaragua Canal.
That's how it be.
I thought the U.S. already has the rights to build a canal in Nicaragua.
They never intended to build a canal there. They'd already started digging in Panama. A canal in Nicaragua would break up the Panama Canal's monopoly. Reason enough for America to stick its nose into our affairs.
They snagged the rights so nobody else could build there.
It was General Sandino who finally stood up to los Yankees. General Sandino waged a guerrilla war against the Marines, at last driving them out. He was a true hero, and to us Sandinistas, like a father. But when they pulled out, the Americans left us something to remember them by.
The National Guard.
Yes, La Guardia. In name, a peacekeeping force, but in reality, Commander Somoza's personal army, answering to no one else. Unable to stay silent, General Sandino went to protest and was assassinated by Somoza as he made his way home. It was then that Somoza and Los Sapos began to eat our country alive from the inside. It has been 40 years since the Somoza family became the rulers of Nicaragua. With La Guardia at their command, no one can challenge them.
You came here on the run from the National Guard, right?
See, they took everything. Our land, our homes, our jobs.
Now belong to Somoza.
See, the law too. He's even got the judges in his pocket. You defy him, you face death. Everyone bows and scrapes before La Guardia. Even then you might get a beating if they are in a bad mood.
And you're trying to change things.
That's not all. these samosas have used their power to line their pockets. They confiscate people's land and hand it to members of the Somoza family. By now, close to half the farmland in Nicaragua is theirs. We were powerless until... You remember the earthquake 2 years ago?
Yeah, I heard the capital was hit pretty hard.
We lost Managua, our capital city. People sent aid from all around the world. Tears of sorrow turned to tears of joy. Yet almost all of it was embezzled by the Somozas. They sold out those who'd lost everything for money. They feasted on our country's suffering. Public resentment is at the boiling point. The Somozas' days are numbered. We will see to it.
I'm still caught up on the on the time, and I'm wondering if I just misremember that line from Liquid. What if he said late 30s and not late 50s? Late 30s doesn't seem as vintage, though. I feel like I have to check. If I start typing, it'll probably autocomplete to it. Big Boss, not Bis, Boss, was in his late. Yeah, no, it's there. And people are talking about exactly what I said. Big Boss was said to be in his late 50s when the three snakes were born/cloned. With the birth/clone year of 1972 being established in the game-ending timeline of Metal Gear Solid 3, Big Boss was then in his late 50s in 1972. But that can't be the case, making him in 1964 the year of the Virtuous and Snake Eater missions, approximately in the end of his 40s. And when he became the student of the boss in 1950, he was in his mid-30s. We have the key dates and ages. 1950, became the student of the boss, Big Boss, mid-30s. So he was in his mid-30s, it's saying. 1964, Operation Snake Eater. He'd be the end of his 40s. In 72, the birth of the clones. He'd be in his late 50s, according to that previous line. In 95, the Outer Heaven Crisis. He'd be in his late 70s to early 80s. 99, Zanzibar Land Uprising. Big Boss would be in his mid-80s. That's according to this one. So, going back to Metal Gear Solid 4, that would put him pretty old, because 99, Metal Gear Solid 4 was 2014 it took place. So yeah, he'd be like 100. But again, what does that mean? Being any age, what does that mean after he died and was brought back to life and like kept in that biomort state, right? Here's someone on Game FAQs talking about it. Retcon ever since Metal Gear Solid 3, where he was younger. Pretty much a retcon. Though a small one, since that would have meant Big Boss would have been super goddamn old by the time he and Snake fought in Metal Gear 1 and 2, and he'd practically be an antique by 4. Most people just look at it as Liquid being misinformed, since he did go around claiming he was the inferior twin when it was Solid who was considered that. That's actually interesting, because I made that comment earlier that, you know, Kojima could just claim, oh, it's just because he was, you know, he had bad information. He didn't know. But that's actually interesting, because he did canonically have bad information about being the inferior twin. Inferior, whatever that means, right? I mean, we know how it was interpreted as recessive versus dominant traits. And he got all the dominant traits, is what they say. I always thought dark hair was dominant, though. Whatever. And another thing on the hair situation is We obviously see Solid Snake with dark hair. A lot of people say he dyed it because it looks like he has blonde hair in the briefing. He has long blonde hair, kind of like Liquid, but it could also just be a color thing because it's in that monochrome format, so it's a little hard to tell. But a lot of people say he dyed it, but I don't know when he would have had a chance to dye it. Like, cutting his hair is one thing. We saw him do, not saw him do it, but we heard him do it. He's like, hey, do you have any scissors? I'm going to cut my hair, and you hear the snips or whatever. I don't think we ever, like, why would they just happen to have hair dye? That one's always bothered me a little bit. That's what people say. But apparently Solid Snake also has blonde hair. I don't know. That gets into weird stuff at that point. But I would think if you're mixing up traits and stuff and going dominant versus recessive traits, they would have different hair colors, I would assume. But whatever. All right, let's get back on this now. She was talking about that earthquake being 2 years ago, and it brought timelines back to my head, and I was still bothered by that.
The first Somoza was originally no more than the commander of La Guardia. Ordinarily, a man of his station could never hope to become president. But the president at the time had no power to back him. The only one with the strength to oppose him was General Sandino. No, better to say the general was the only one who dared oppose him. There was nothing special about him. Above all, it takes a strong will to see justice done. That is what he taught us.
Mm-hmm. It's also what motivated Somoza to have him killed.
Yes. The rest was easy. He got rid of the president, taking office in a sham election. And once he had the power, he never gave it up.
Talk about heavy-handed.
He had the Americans backing him, that's why. They didn't want to hand over power to a rebellious general.
Even so, it's hard to believe Washington would give its blessing to a guy like that.
The American president at the time put it this way. Somoza may be a son of a bitch, but he's our son of a bitch. In other words, better a dog or Los Sapos than an anti-U.S. regime.
That sounds about right.
The Managua earthquake struck 2 years ago, the day before Christmas Eve. Giant cracks opened up in the streets. Sleeping children were crushed in collapsing houses. No chance to escape. No visit from Santa Claus. Thanks to Somoza, the old houses could not even get rebuilt. It was a nightmare.
I heard the epicenter was right in the middle of the city.
Even today, it's too dangerous to build on top of the fault line. The city center is still in ruins.
And to make things worse, Somoza stole the recovery money.
We must not fail. We owe it to those who lost their lives. We will defeat Somoza.
All right, what do we have here? Lots.
We are Sandinistas, the heirs of General Sandino's will.
Sandino, the father of modern guerrilla warfare.
To you, maybe. To us, he's more like a real father.
That why you named yourselves after him?
Of course. La Frente Sandinista de Liberación Nacional. The Sandinista National Liberation Front is named in his honor. We share the general's goal, to take back our country's freedom. In his day, from America. In ours, from the despot Somoza.
Times have changed, but the song remains the same.
Patria libre o morir. That is our slogan. El Che used to say the same thing, you know.
Patria o muerte, the slogan of the Cuban Revolution. So, you're fighting for a socialist revolution too, then?
No, it's not about ideology. We only want to live normal lives. We are sick of living in a country where you can be beaten for walking down the street, where you never know if your neighbor is snitching on you. Our goal is to give back the country to its people.
Yeah, the Cuban Revolution started out like that too.
We are few in number, but we will win. Victoria o muerte. For a revolutionary, there is no other fate. Augusto Cesar Sandino, general and hero of Nicaragua. 50 years ago, conflict broke out between the political parties of Nicaragua. The U.S. Marines intervened in the name of restoring order. The only one who refused to listen to their call for reconciliation was General Sandino.
Huh. One man against the Marines. That takes guts.
The general wasn't a professional soldier. Neither were his compadres. And they certainly could not match the Marines' equipment. But he used the land to his advantage, lurking in the fields and hills of Nicaragua, and using surprise attacks to harass the Marines.
I know. I've read plenty of textbooks on guerrilla warfare.
In the end, he drove them out. He was truly a role model for us.
Yeah, but that was the 30s. Didn't the Depression have something to do with it? It takes cash to wage war.
Perhaps. But there is no denying what the general accomplished. The people hailed him as the General de Hombres Libres, the General of Free Men. They loved him. And then he was assassinated by Anastasio Somoza Garcia, commander of La Guardia.
The father of the current Somoza.
Somoza had the Americans' backing. That is the way things were. The general may be dead, and the times may have changed, but his will lives on inside each of us. We are the sons and daughters of General Sandino.
Oh, speaking my language here. Watermelon, hell yeah.
Hey, how's the watermelon business these days?
Not bad. I hear the compas back home are hanging in there too.
Good to hear.
You know our nickname. I'm impressed. No wonder they call you boss.
You used to hide your weapons in hollowed-out watermelons, smuggle them right past the National Guard. You even transported pineapple grenades that way. The name caught on among sympathizers in the region and...
What are you talking about?
Huh?
They call us watermelon sellers because the general's name sounds like the word for watermelon. Sandia.
Really?
Si.
Damn it, Kaz.
Amazing. I don't know who's right or who's wrong. Is she just covering? Who knows?
A revolution to bring peace to your country, huh? No matter how much we fight, peace never gets any closer, does it?
I do not like it, but it is the only way. If we do not fight back, they'll just keep exploiting us. You want proof? Look at our country's history. Revolution is a means and not an end. I know. When the revolution is victorious, I want my country to be at peace. But to bring peace, we have to first eliminate that traitorous scum.
It's an old saying. We make war that we may live in peace.
Who said it?
Aristotle.
You know your history.
I had a good teacher.
It has always been like this. People making the same mistakes over and over. And still, all we can do is fight.
I hear you. If you've got a goal, you've got to keep moving forward. I noticed you called Che Guevara El Che.
Not just us. Everyone in these parts does. Che was always his nickname. It does not feel right to call him by his last name. I was shocked the first time I saw you. You look so much like him.
I look like El Che, huh?
Sort of. Not in the face. It's more the way you carry yourself.
I guess Che's a hero to the Sandinistas, too.
Of course. The FSLN was formed in the spirit of the ideologies championed by El Che and Fidel.
Fidel Castro. So, you're trying to bring the Cuban Revolution to Nicaragua.
Well, we were. But Cuba isn't what it once was. Not since El Che left. El Che was a true revolutionary. He fought and died for the people. He worked harder than anybody, and he was a righteous man. Even as a minister of Cuba, he gave up his weekends to work on the farms and public works. As a volunteer, no less.
Yeah, I've heard the stories. But when you think about it, wasn't it that obsession that did him in?
How do you mean?
We can't all be supermen. He thought the ideals he applied in Cuba would work in Bolivia. But he failed to win converts and the support of the peasants. And it cost him his life.
Maybe you are right. But at least he did not steal from those peasants, no matter how hard things got.
Yeah, I can sympathize with that. There's plenty of guerrillas out there who'd rob their own people to feed their revolutions.
If we had a comandante like him, the Sandinistas would find the will to fight.
Okay. Enemy strength should be... Well, CIA strength should be interesting. I thought it was going to be more gameplay related. Hombre nuevo. New man.
You called that giant chopper an hombre nuevo.
See, it means new man.
New man?
There was nobody piloting that thing. It must be controlled by machine.
Yeah, it seems that way. No human being could pull off those crazy maneuvers.
But it's not crazy. It's smart. It sings, too.
When we first saw it, one of your men said, pilot must be an hombre nuevo.
Me? I do not like the name.
Why?
Hombre Nuevo was what El Che was striving to become. What all of us who joined the Sandinistas strive to become. That's why. An hombre nuevo is one who finds joy in virtue and voluntary labor. It makes me furious to see that name given to such a monster.
I'll bet. Chico called that helicopter El Colibri.
Our name for the hummingbird. You saw how that chopper moved, how it hovered in midair like a hummingbird?
A hell of a lot bigger than a bird, though.
True, but better than hombre nuevo, don't you think? When you get kidnapped by El Colibri, it's all over. They take you to a prison camp and torture you until you snitch on your compas.
That's what took Chico.
They have no mercy. Once you talk, they toss you out like trash. I knew this, and still I could not save Chico. If he cannot be saved, I will do what must be done.
Okay.
Don't write him off like that. Sometimes you have to survive, even if it means sacrificing your honor. I'll get him back. I promise.
Somehow I missed this one. I've been doing the things for each mission. Maybe I missed it for the mission, or maybe it didn't show up. Because there's the one over here that says about this mission. I've been doing those, at least, and I never heard that. That's obviously not relevant anymore. Okay. I think we're back. I had that weird freeze happen again. I don't know why it's never happened on anything other than this game. It's only started. Like, I've done other captures before with Crackdown. It never happened. But I don't think it's just when I'm playing the game. It might have happened when I was even on, like, the dashboard one time. I don't know. Anyway, I noticed when it froze, it still said the CIA's strength, so it was on this dialogue here. So I just backed out. I have no idea what they were saying. So we get to replay the whole thing now from the start. Hope it doesn't freeze again. But the weird thing is when I started OBS again, it immediately froze. Now it's fine on the third one. So I don't know.
Snake, I need your opinion. How strong are the enemy's mercenaries?
They're well trained. They've got more than enough men. Seasoned, too. A lot of them probably saw action in Vietnam. They're a tough bunch. And armed to the teeth. I don't think I've ever seen a mercenary force field that many tanks and attack choppers.
It shows how much cash they have to throw around. And connections. How did they get access to such weapons?
How do you think? They're backed by the one and only CIA.
And here we are. Half of us farmers and the other half students. Children even. And weapons. We're so short on guns we have to steal them from the enemy. As much as I hate to say it, we're always going to be on the defensive.
I know.
And mi viejo. Without him,
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if we can win. Can we, Snake?
Stop feeling sorry for yourself.
But...
Amanda,
what?
listen to me. Don't ever let your men hear you talk like that. You're their leader, and a leader has to stand tall, even when times get tough, when it feels like the fear and uncertainty could crush you. You're the one your comrades look to for reassurance. That's what a leader is. Don't forget it.
Snake.
If you're looking for comfort, go find a church. That's all I've got to say.
Okay.
You are right. I am sorry. I need to pull myself together.
You'll be fine. I know you have it in you.
Thank you, Snake.
All right. Relations with the U.S. Plantations. Oh, we know about this. And the drugs.
land in our country belongs to us, and yet it does not belong to us.
How so?
Along the coast, it is all banana groves, and in the mountains, it is coffee. I guess in that way, it is not so different from here.
Plantations.
Almost all the bananas and coffee are sold as exports. The landlords keep the money for themselves, leaving precious little to the farmers. Worse, the biggest landowners in the country are Somoza and his family.
But it does bring in foreign currency.
I doubt even that, at least for bananas. The plantations are owned by American corporations. The bananas are processed in factories on the plantations and exported to America from private ports. It's like having little American enclaves along the coast of Nicaragua.
But the farmers have no choice but to go work there.
Es ridículo. The people have to take their land back. It is one of the things we are fighting for.
Tell me, when exactly did you realize your dad was working with the KGB?
About 6 months ago. Up until then, we only had beans to eat. And then suddenly we started to get eggs and flour. Our bullet shortage simply disappeared.
How'd he get the cocaine?
Ask the KGB. All we did here was process it. Coca plants grow here too. But to my knowledge, almost all of the stuff we used came from Colombia and Bolivia.
It's processed in a factory and then shipped to ports on the Caribbean Sea. Where does it go after that?
I never thought about it. I mean, I did not want to think about it.
The biggest cocaine consumer in the world is the United States. I'm guessing they smuggle it in on vessels disguised as fishing boats.
Wait, La CIA uses that route too. Are you telling me they're selling cocaine to their own country?
Looks that way.
Those bastards are turning their own children into junkies? Are they insane?
No, just afraid. Afraid of a communist Central America.
I'm sure the US would never do something like that. I'm sure it would never come out in the 1980s as a big scandal or anything. That would just be weird.
La CIA calls their new toy Peace Walker, eh?
Yeah, so?
It is an insult to us Nicos.
Because of the guy you were talking about, Walker.
See, although it happened over 100 years ago. Back then, the political parties in Nicaragua were at each other's throats. The Nicaraguan Democratic Party hired an American mercenary to help counter their enemies, the Conservative Party.
And that was Walker.
After taking care of the conservatives, Walker decided to seize power in Nicaragua for himself, eventually making himself president.
The Democratic Party gave him an inch, and he took the whole country.
But it did not end there. Not only did he make English an official language, he tried to reintroduce slavery. Walker's goal was to build a Caribbean empire centered on the American South.
Caribbean Empire? Sounds kind of like what Coleman is trying to pull off.
Was.
The gringos are always like that. They invent some convenient excuse to trample all over foreign countries like they own the place. Peace Walker, ha!
What happened to Walker in the end?
A united Central American army led by Costa Rica kicked his ass and sent him running back to America.
Then why don't we do the same? I, for one, don't intend to let Coleman get his way.
Good idea. I'm glad we have you, boss.
Interesting hearing this a little bit late, but, you know, it is what it is. Again, it was just a matter of there's a lot of these, and there were times where, for brevity, it's like, all right, I will listen to them, but I want to do missions. So a little unfortunate at times that some of these didn't pop up where they were maybe relevant, maybe not, but I don't know. Joining the FSLN. Turn this off real quick.
Amanda, when did you join up with the Sandinistas?
About a year ago, when I went into the mountains with mi viejo and his group.
I thought your dad was with the FSLN from the start.
No, he fought alongside General Sandino, but after that, he retired for a while. He found a job, got a wife and a house, and raised us kids. Then one day, some Sandinista students came by.
And he felt the old fire in his belly.
Something like that. All he did was help them escape from La Guardia, though. But then La Guardia showed up. They broke into our house and began pushing him around, shouting questions.
I'm guessing he kept his mouth shut.
no matter how hard they hit him. Our house was trashed. After that, he was on their list. They harassed him day and night. It was only then that he gave himself over to the Sandinistas. He kept it hidden from us at first, so we would not get hurt.
He sounds like a good father.
He was. But my mother got fed up with it. She left us. I don't blame her.
Why didn't you go with her?
It was a hard decision for sure. But like my father, I could not let Somoza get away with his crimes. But most of all,
Chico.
he is too much like his papa. One way or the other, he was going to stay, and I could not leave him behind. Soon enough, La Guardia drove us out, and we found ourselves in the mountains. It just kind of happened.
Well, for an accidental revolutionary, you sure put up a hell of a fight.
The mountains make men into warriors. The training is harsh, but it brings us that much closer to being hombres nuevos.
Chico couldn't ask for a better sister. I can see why they picked you to be Comandante.
When I was little, I came down with malaria. Unlucky for me, it was the bad kind. I was in a daze the whole time. And at one point they said I was not going to make it.
Malarial encephalopathy. I hear it's pretty common in tropical malaria cases.
Even today, my memory sometimes gets a little fuzzy. Since then, I've had this fear of mosquitoes. When I hear them buzzing nearby, I get jumpy.
Aha, that explains the chain smoking.
See, I thought it might help keep the mosquitoes away, just a little. Maybe it is all in my head. You're the same way, right?
Well, I will say this. I prefer a cigar over mosquitoes.
Me too.
I've got to hand it to you. It takes guts to conquer your fear like that and live a gorilla's life in the wild.
It is nothing. El Che did not let asthma stop him from leading the revolution. Compared to him, I am no hero.
I'm sorry to hear about your dad.
Thank you for saying that. Mi viejo was the leader of the Frente. He was the last of the generation that knew General Sandino. He saw the general's exploits firsthand as a boy. He would tell us stories about it all the time and about how the general was assassinated.
Did you know he was getting money from the KGB?
I had some idea, but I did not have the courage to confront him about it. I know it was a painful decision for him to make.
I can imagine.
Yes, my father was a good man. I loved him as a daughter, and his soldiers believed in him. Thanks to him, La Frente held together even in the worst of times. I don't know if I can ever fill his shoes.
Chico's 12, right?
Right.
Isn't he a little short for his age?
Malnourishment. Food is hard to come by when you're running around in the jungle.
He's got quite an appetite.
I know. I didn't want him to come in the first place, but there was no one to take him in. I had no choice but to look after him.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Sometimes it's better for a kid to be with his family than far away in a safe place.
Thank you.
Promise me this, though. When your fight is over, make sure he gets a proper education. Give him a chance to be something other than a guerrilla. It's not too late to teach him something other than fighting.
Okay, I promise. You know what book Chico really likes? The World Encyclopedia of Mysterious Creatures. The Loch Ness Monster, the Yeti.
UMAs. Yeah, I know.
He's still so much like a boy. I worry about him.
He'll be fine. I know plenty of grown men who still go crazy over UMAs.
Are you serious? You have taken such good care of me since you saved me from El Colibri. I want to return the favor.
Just wait until you're healed up. Then we'll talk.
I appreciate that, but you need all the help you can get. It might take a while for me to heal completely, but I'll be fine once I'm on my feet. Put me in a combat unit. I'll pull my weight.
I wouldn't expect any less from a Sandinista Comandante.
Enough flattery. But seriously, it does not feel right for me to be sitting here while my compas are out risking their lives.
One thing's for sure. Having you out in the field would be a big boost to Sandinista morale.
Of course, our ultimate goal is still the overthrow of Somoza. But until we get ourselves back in order, we will follow your lead, wherever it takes us.
Glad to have you on board.
All right, decision time. Might be the last one.
Amanda, you getting used to Mother Base?
Yes, it is heaven compared to living in the mountains.
Not heaven.
We are no longer constantly on the run from La Guardia or mercenaries.
Some of the new guys we recruited used to be mercenaries.
We are getting along. It was difficult at first, but once you talk to them, you realize we've got plenty in common.
I see. Good to hear.
We may be enemies, but we are all still human beings. La CIA soldiers, La Guardia. The same goes for the people of America.
What's gotten into you?
Mi viejo got involved with drugs in order to scrape together money for La Revolucion. He did whatever the KGB said, all for Nicaragua, or so he told himself. But I realize now, in the end, all he did was help poison young people of America.
Yeah.
I have made up my mind. Even when I leave Mother Base and return to La Revolucion, I will never turn to drugs, nor will I look to the KGB for help. If we topple Somoza using the KGB and drug money, we will lose the people's hearts.
So, you're choosing a different path from your father.
I still respect him, but I will not do things the way he did.
Well, I'm sure Chico will be glad to hear that.
Chico is a grown soldier now. I could not face him otherwise.
Well said, Amanda. Those are the words of a true Comandante.
Stop. I was inspired by the greatest Comandante I have ever known. Boss.
And speaking of Chico, he'll be next. Curious what Cecile has. Hers might be short. Chico's might be short. I expect Huey would have a lot. Mimicking animal calls. Some info about herself, a lot of info about France. Sartre was in there. Jean-Paul Sartre. I hit up twice, it's just slow. I don't know the UMA acronym. I've always heard them referred to as cryptids within the field, if you will, of cryptozoology. But yeah, he's got plenty of those. Loch Ness, Nahuelito, Ogopogo, Okeliomembe.
There's a river in the mountains north of the village. You'll see a water pipe running across that's got a walkway you can use as a bridge. I guess they built it to carry water from the hydroelectric plant. To get there, though, you gotta get past the barricade north of the precinct.
Got it.
El Basilisco supposedly lives in the gorge up there, so be careful you don't get distracted and fall in the river.
The Basilisco.
Not the big monster I saw. I mean the real Basilisco.
Attorney to Stone.
A real one. The legendary king of snakes.
More like a lizard, I guess. It walks on top of the river.
A lizard that walks on water.
Man, you should see it. It's not that big, though. Only about 1 bada long.
Pretty good size for a lizard.
Yeah, but not nearly as big as a dinosaur.
Well, what is a dinosaur? You know, birds are considered dinosaurs. That's how it works. All birds are dinosaurs.
So there's a real Basilisco that lives in the river?
I'm only saying I heard stories from people who said they saw it. But I know lots of places to find it in Nicaragua. Do you want to go have a look?
I don't have time for sightseeing.
You don't like lizards?
It's not that. I just think snakes taste better.
Who said anything about taste?
How about you? You like them?
Not that way. They do look kind of like dinosaurs, though. You don't think that's cool?
They're both reptiles, yeah. But there's a big difference size-wise.
I'll bet there are still big ones around somewhere. They say mammals multiplied and ate up their eggs. But they can't all be gone. They've gotta exist somewhere out there.
Dinosaur eggs, huh?
And animals are always evolving, right? Maybe they evolved so much, they don't even look like dinosaurs anymore.
Then you can't really call them dinosaurs, can you?
I guess not. Yeah, you're right. Dinosaurs have gotta be big.
Well, again, that's not how phylogeny works. Because birds are descended from dinosaurs, but they still are dinosaurs. And I'm not going to get into phylogeny here, but it's how it works.
Snake, is it true you took a picture of El Colibri?
Yep. Got it right here.
Whoa! It's like an actual UFO! I knew it! Los Yankees are working with the aliens.
I know it kind of looks that way, but...
Hey, Snake, can you make me a copy of that?
Well, I don't see why not. What for?
People pay good money for this stuff. We can use it to raise money for MSF.
Sure, kid. You go out and get us a good price for it.
You don't believe me, do you? I'll get the money. You'll see.
What if we get free GMP just for listening to that call? Or that conversation? Isla del Monstruo.
Snake, legend has it, a place called Isla del Monstruo is near Costa Rica.
Isla del Monstruo.
It was discovered in the 18th century by Caribbean pirates sailing over to the Pacific. And the island in Treasure Island is based on one near Costa Rica, too.
Treasure Island. I remember reading that.
You've read it, too? Ah, that makes things easier.
I haven't.
In Nicaragua, we too have a story about a group of pirates that encountered a flying monster out at sea. Some even say they landed on this monster island, though we still don't know exactly where it is. That's the reason I've always wanted to come to Costa Rica.
I see.
Ooh, I heard another story about a talking cat that lives somewhere in Costa Rica. They say it'll take you to this place.
Interesting stuff.
Want to know more about the island?
Maybe later. If I'm headed that way, you can fill me in.
Okay, just let me know.
In before new topics. Nope. I wouldn't mind hearing it, but I'm also kind of glad we didn't get anything. Alright, this will be a little more consequential to his character. At least 3. Some of these might expand. Rolling Mother Base is, you know, completely different.
Amanda's so bossy. It's always follow me or stay here. The other day she told me, chew your gallo pinto before you swallow. Can you believe it?
Knowing your sister? Yeah, I can.
The enemy could strike at any time. I can't sit around taking my sweet time eating. I'm a Sandinista, just like the others. I don't need some woman telling me what to do.
Some woman? She's your sister, and she's doing the best she can to fill your father's shoes.
I know, but lately she hasn't been doing so good. I should be strong for her.
Now you're talking. Sorry to hear about your dad.
Don't be. He is a guerrilla warrior. We pledge our lives to our country and its people. I'm ready to die too if I have to.
You sure?
You better believe it. Like mi viejo used to say. Patria o muerte.
Che said it first.
My dad used to tell us all kinds of stories. About General Sandino and his fight against La Guardia. About my mom before she left us.
You didn't want to go with her.
It's not like that. La Revolucion comes first, that's all.
You must wish you could see her, though.
I don't know. But I know I'll see her again when this is all over. Somehow, I just know it. When I do, me and my mom and papa are all going to live together again. At least that's what I thought. Now,
Hang in there, Chico. Your sister needs you.
okay.
He is just a kid, right?
Have you ever heard, shoot, coward, you're only going to kill a man?
Che's last words. He'd been captured in Bolivia and said it to the soldiers just as they were about to execute him.
El Che. He was something, wasn't he? Coming up with a line like that knowing he was about to die.
After the Cuban Revolution, Che gave up his position in the new government to aid in revolutions in other countries. He knew he could die at any time, and he was ready for it.
Me? I couldn't even take a little torture.
But you've been reborn as an hombre nuevo. Right, Chico?
Right.
Don't you ever get lonely, living away from your mom?
Not really. My compas are my family now. A lot of them are from the same village as me.
So you had plenty of people to take care of you.
Take care of me? I'm a warrior, like any other Sandinista. We look out for each other. That is how it works.
Sorry. Guess I misspoke.
Now we're scattered because of that colibri. Wonder where everybody went.
I think we got him now.
If you see any Frente prisoners, please, you gotta get them out, okay? Those guys are solid, every one. You could use them in MSF. Hey, Snake, are there any jobs for me here at Mother Base? I can do anything.
You don't have to work, you know.
Don't treat me like a kid. I'm a man now.
Okay, then. What are you good at?
Let me think. Everything. Put me on any team. I can pull my own weight.
Well, you are young. You'll probably be a fast learner. I'll think of something.
Anything you need, boss. You'll see. I can fight as good as anybody.
Alrighty, so curious how Huey looks. He's probably got a lot. Those all expand. Yeah. Oh no, I was on the wrong thing. Peace Walker with Mammal Pod. Transmitting data to NORAD. Dr. Strangelove. There's a decent amount there. It's been a while. It's been like an hour and a half. I'm gonna do Cecile. I'm going to go through Cecile's conversations, and after that, I think I might save the data files. I do want to get some gameplay today, but the way I'm looking at it is I've got about a little less than 2 hours until I should stop. So I'd like to get some gameplay in, but I want to make sure that tomorrow, when I have my next session of this, which may be the last, I've done most of the data files, most of the briefings, and spend a little bit less time tomorrow doing this and focus more on just wrapping up the game. Laying the groundwork here.
You said you could do a monkey call.
Yes? Want to hear it?
Yeah, I won't be able to get it off my mind until I do.
All right, here it is then.
That's pretty good.
I can do others too, like a sheep, a pig.
Yeah? Wow. What about a pig? That's uncanny.
Oh, I can do a rabbit as well.
A rabbit? Rabbits make noises?
Certainly, but they are very faint, so perhaps only someone who has owned one would recognize them.
I see. So, what do they sound like?
Listen very carefully.
Okay. Seriously? Rabbits sound like that?
I assure you they do. Listen again.
Never heard a rabbit do that before.
They do, I swear.
All right, tell me about your Cecile Cosima Caminadas. Sister full name. It's probably not how you pronounce it.
Never heard the name Cosima before. Then again, I don't know many people from France. Is it a common name?
No, not that common. But Wagner's second wife was named Cosima Francesca Gaetana Wagner.
Huh.
Kojima is a common last name in Japan.
Kaz?
It's just funny how, I'm part Japanese and Cecile's middle name is so close to Kojima. It feels like destiny unfolding.
You think so?
Oui, oui. That's a beautiful name you have. Cecile Cosima Caminades. Wait a second. Cecile Cosima Caminades. Cosima Caminades. Hey, that's close to
Close to what?
your name. It sounds almost like the sentence Kojima Caminandes in Japanese.
And what does it mean, s'il vous plaît?
Well, kami is the word for God in Japanese. Nandesu. Well, it's hard to explain, but placed after God, it would turn the sentence into is God.
Okay, so?
Kojima is God. Cecile's name is a message. I don't believe it. Kojima is God. Kojima is God.
Kaz,
Wow. Okay. I love it. Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I was watching Dragon Ball Z. In the U.S. translation, they call him Kami. And, that's what they call him in Japanese as well. But we just, most people here would have just thought that was his name, Kami. And it was, sometime later where I was watching some subtitled versions online for things that were out in Japan but were not out here in the States yet. And like streaming things. It was totally legal, I'm sure. It's like I was a kid, whatever. And the subtitles called him God. And I was like, what? They're just calling him God. And that's when I learned about that.
how are you enjoying Mother Base so far?
Ah, it is wonderful.
Good to hear. I was worried someone as cultured as you would find the plant a little uncouth.
Uncouth? Ah, you've got albatross, and frigate birds, and terns, and tropic birds. Seabirds I have never had a chance to see in France.
Oh, well, great.
I'm sorry. I know I should not spend all day chasing birds. Is there anything I can help with?
I appreciate the offer, but I'm not sure what I could ask you to do.
Well, I'm certainly not cut out to shoot a gun.
Cecile, where'd you learn to move through the forest like that? The birds weren't scared of you at all.
Becoming one with the forest is the very essence of bird watching. They want to behave naturally if they sense a human nearby. And that can really affect your observations.
I see. Kind of like scouting then.
I am also good at spotting birds from a distance, tracking them based on the tiniest of clues, and being aware of my surroundings.
Hence intel.
You're starting to sound even more like a scout.
The only way to find a bird is to think like a bird. Now, think you can find a place for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd be good at intel, right? I mean, she's already assigned, but I couldn't remember where she got assigned, but that makes total sense.
Did you live in Paris your whole life before coming here?
Ah, yes. It is my favorite city. Paris is the world capital of art and culture. It has the latest fashion, the best cuisine, and the most elegant, refined people. The beauty of the Champs-Élysées at night is almost unearthly. The name comes from Elysium, the name of paradise in Greek mythology. Heaven, in other words.
Must be nice for some people. Not for me.
Are you saying the cultured life does not appeal to you?
I'm saying I never had a chance to lead one. Not that it appealed to me anyway.
You prefer war?
I don't like war. Life outside heaven just suits me better.
That is a hard way to live. But if you do ever come to France, I will show you around Paris.
Deal.
Then you will see what heaven on earth is really like.
Oh my.
Heaven on earth, huh? The only image I have of France is the Foreign Legion.
That is how you view France?
What do the French think of them?
It is a difficult question. We normally don't think about it so much.
Well, critics claim it forces foreigners to take on the most dangerous missions, so French citizens won't get hurt.
You are right. That probably had something to do with why it was created. But I understand that along with service comes benefits, such as French citizenship and permanent residency. Those who join are all given an equal chance, regardless of race, religion, education, social status, or national origin. So it can be a godsend for people from poor countries.
A way for the have-nots to live a decent life. I guess that's not so different from MSF. There's one other image I have of France. The national anthem.
Ah, La Marseillaise. Not everyone is a fan, of course.
The whole "to arms, citizens, may an impure blood water our furrows" thing, eh?
The song was composed right after the French Revolution. Fearing what the tide of the revolution represented, the ruling classes in neighboring countries applied all kinds of pressure on the young government. La Marseillaise became the anthem of the volunteer armies that sought to protect constitutional rule against that pressure.
And they couldn't do that without armed force.
Oui, I agree, some parts are a little belligerent. But we must not forget that if it were not for them, France would not be the democracy it is today. Have you ever seen The Umbrellas of Cherbourg?
A movie? No, never seen it.
No? It came out 10 years ago. Catherine Deneuve, she's so beautiful in it. And the music, the costumes, the colors. It takes place in the naval port of Cherbourg.
That was a beachhead in Normandy.
It is set back when young men were conscripted to fight in the Algerian War.
The French government called the conflict a public order operation in northern Africa.
I was still a little girl then, but I can clearly remember one of my friend's older brothers going off to fight.
Yeah, national service is required in France.
The war splits up two young lovers. Director Jacques Demy's lyrics and Michel Legrand's music tore at my heart. I will never forget its wonderful melodies.
Are you okay?
It changes lives, changes fates. War is not a good thing.
For some reason, it strikes a chord to hear that coming from someone like you. Speaking of the Algerian War of Independence, you ever hear of the Day of the Jackal?
Ah, you mean the novel that was made into a movie last year? The OAS, a militant French underground group, plots to assassinate de Gaulle, hiring a hitman known as the Jackal. Readers know that de Gaulle was not killed, but it is still so exciting. If someone was going to try to eliminate me, I would hope they would be as thorough as the Jackal, to know everything about me without me suspecting a thing.
Oh, yeah?
I wonder if my birds feel the same way.
I wonder.
Well, odd.
France conducted its first successful nuclear test in the Algerian Sahara in 1960.
A lot of French scientists took part in the Manhattan Project. They defected to America to escape wartime occupation.
Correct. And once the war was over, they returned to France and continued their own atomic research. President de Gaulle did not want to have to rely on the American nuclear umbrella for protection.
Thus making France the world's fourth nuclear power.
Some say the test success pacified the Algerian rebels. The civil war was undoubtedly held in check. But never have I equated nuclear weapons with peace.
No exit.
France has produced many philosophers over the years. Descartes, Bataille, Sartre, Baudrillard.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Sartre myself. He called Che Guevara the most complete man of the century, didn't he? Smart guy.
He does tend to sympathize with the left. What else do you know about him?
That's it.
You know nothing else?
Nope.
Ooh la la! The man is one of the giants of existentialism, you know?
Existentialism. I've been meaning to look into that. Nothing more dangerous than sneaking in without first securing an exit.
No, existentialism. Sometimes I wonder if my English is not better than yours.
Sorry, I'm just not into philosophy.
Ah, is that so? I would imagine it might really enrich your life.
I'd rather take action now than spend time thinking about what we are or how we're supposed to live. I guess you could say I live my philosophy.
Interesting. That sounds like something Sartre would say.
Yeah?
He says we are born with no defined nature, and that we are free to make ourselves what we wish.
Free. So he was one of those devil-may-care kind of guys, huh?
No. Actually, he meant that because we are free to create our own life, we must take full responsibility for our actions. Man is condemned to be free, is how he put it.
Condemned to be free.
But then, others will take it upon themselves to define who you are.
I've been feeling that way lately. I keep telling people to call me Snake, but nobody seems to listen.
Sartre also says, hell is other people.
Hell. Well, we are outside of heaven.
Yeah, I think the first time I ever read any Sartre was an existentialism course. My first degree was in philosophy. I believe that would have been the first time that I read any. Alright, just a few more unless these
Do
expand.
you have an interest in the visual arts, Snake?
Not really. Please, no deep conversation.
But you have heard of Picasso, yes?
Yeah, I've heard the name.
Sadly, Monsieur Picasso, co-founder of Cubism, passed away in the south of France last year. France was his home, you know.
Huh? I thought he was born in Spain.
Do you know his full name?
Pablo
It's long.
Picasso. Anyone would know he's Spanish with a name like...
Huh. Shows what do you know?
What do you mean?
Okay, here we go. Pablo Diego José Francisco de la Pala Juan Nepomuceno María de los Remedios Cipriano de la Santísima Trinidad Ruiz y Picasso. What do you think? That was his full name.
Still, I don't see how...
A master of modern art, a genius who crafted over 100,000 works in various styles, spending the greater part of his life in France. The man is a part of our culture.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is of limited use in my field. But back to the point. Picasso was Spanish, right? Or am I missing something? He wasn't French, right? Right? Cecile.
What difference does it make? It does not matter if he was from Spain or from Mars. Picasso is Picasso. It does not change the fact that he lived in France, nor does it take away from his monumental legacy. Why do you care so much about where he was from, anyway? Whatever happened to the sans frontière part of Militaire sans frontière?
You started it. France was his...
What was that?
Nothing.
Yeah, I remember, I don't know if I'd ever heard his full name prior to it, but in the epic rap battles of history, who is it? Bob Ross versus Picasso, I think? And there's an entire section of it where he just kind of raps the entire name. It's pretty good.
Tell me, Snake, do you ever put sweets in your rations?
Never thought about it before. Why?
I simply love them. French sweets are très délicieux. Everyone knows crepes, but there are also profiteroles, eclairs, madeleines, financiers. Then there's tarte tatin, and you can't forget Savarin. Oh, and millefiori, crepes, blancmange,
Yeah, you already mentioned crepes.
soufflés, croquembouche, cannelle, Florentine, Queen Amagne, peach melbas,
Finished?
and macaroons. I love those the most. Macaroon Parisian are the best. They are so cute and colorful, and they contain meringue, so they melt right in your mouth.
Wow. I'd no idea macaroons were that popular in France, too.
What do you mean in France, too?
Macaroons are those coconut-flavored cookies, right?
Oh, excuse you? Macaroons contain almond powder, not coconuts.
Don't they have peanuts in them? I've had them in Japan a few times. I thought they were called macarons.
Macarons? Some cheap imitation, I am sure. French macaroons have a long and distinguished history. They date back to the 16th century when Catherine de' Medici of Florence married into the French royal family. The story goes that her pâtissier shared the recipe after they arrived. That is a history of over 500 years.
So, they're originally from Italy then?
Well,
Don't macaroons come from Italy too?
look, I do not really think.
Keep in mind, macaron is almost identical to macaroni.
Well, that settles it.
I cannot believe this. To associate macaroons with macaroni? You, Monsieur Miller, are an insensible oaf.
Hey, why am I the bad guy? Come on, Cecile, wait! Cecile!
The grunts and stuff always amuse me. Something about the way he so seriously says a statement like that. Like, keep in mind that macaron is almost identical to macaroni. It is just so serious. There's not a hint of like sarcasm or anything in the delivery.
Hello? Snake? Mon chéri?
You've been drinking, Cecile?
Can't you please do something about this pest?
Who?
Monsieur Miller!
What's he done now?
Wine.
Wine?
He said he thought the soldiers might tire of having beer all the time. So he's brought in some wine instead. And then he gave me a bunch.
Well, that was nice of him.
But the past 2 years have been bad for French wine. Perhaps it is the bad weather we have had. But whatever the case, I told him the last thing you want to be drinking right now is French wine.
Well, California and Chile have good wine too.
But then he goes and stocks the pantry with nothing but French wine from 72. The stuff is a disaster. Then he says, "Come on, Cecile, have a taste of the old country." I had a terrible feeling about it, so I decided just to taste it at first, and then again, and then a few more times.
Took one for the team, huh? But when you do a tasting, don't you usually spit the wine out?
But bottle after bottle, nothing but garbage. Absolute garbage. Not one half-decent bottle in the whole lot. Taste of the old country, he says.
Sorry to hear that.
I cannot believe this. What will we do with all this wine?
The guys aren't too picky when it comes to taste.
You sound just like Monsieur Miller.
Huh?
When I complained, he simply said, "As long as it gets the job done." You people are such culinary savages. Allez tout vous faire voir. Somebody take me back to Paris, please.
I think you've had a little too much, Cecile.
Oh no, another one. Was that there? I swear it just popped up. Something I was gonna say about the wine that I just forgot. There was something I was gonna say about the macaroons one as well. All those French words like back to back to back to back. Like French is such a weird language. I guess if you actually take the time to learn how it works, it's probably not as bad. But looking at it, it's so weird because half the letters are just like gone. You don't do anything with them. Oh, what was it? Can I skip through like
Hello?
individual lines? So Miller tried to get her drunk. Oh, the tasting thing When you do a tasting, don't you usually spit the wine out? What the hell? Why? Why would you? Well, that tastes okay. I'm gonna spit that out now. That tastes amazing. I'm also going to spit that. What's the purpose? You're just wasting it. That's stupid.
You seem like a very, how do I put this, uninhibited woman.
Hey.
You think so? I am no different from other Parisian women. Not since May 1968.
May 1968? The general strike that almost brought down the president?
Right. But it was more than just a strike. It started with the student movement at Strasbourg University in '66. They did not want anything from the country, but instead sought reform at the school. That helped ignite a fire in the hearts of scores of dissatisfied young people. And the movement spread all over France. It was more than just opposition to Vietnam and the de Gaulle administration. People also called for free love and the breaking away from other old values. Looking back, I am not sure what the main goal really was. But whatever the case, it was more of a young people's movement than a strike or a protest.
So, it was like the hippies or something?
In some ways, perhaps. But we weren't blinded by mysticism, nor did we seek a return to nature.
I see. So, while they wanted to retreat to their closed communes...
We tried to change the world. And in doing so, we learned that when everyone comes together, it can be done.
You had a lot more success. In America, hippies have just become a social problem, while I hear Japan's student movements crashed and burned.
I wonder what was different.
Good question. I'd like to know myself.
To be fair, back on the wine topic, I've wanted to spit out most wines that I've tried. Wasn't a fan of them. So we do have some of these to go through. We still have Huey's to go through. I think he's going to take a little bit. And then we'll be done with all that. So let's back out of this. We got to go after Zadornov, right?
Snake, Zadornov has escaped custody. Find him.
After almost 2 hours. I think I started at 10:18. It's 12:07. Now, granted, I did have to restart the stream and stuff there, and I lost a couple of minutes, but it's been a big old beefy boy, and you know, I really should have kept up with that more earlier, but it happens. It was one of those things where I kept wanting to, but not feeling like there was enough time. Nothing about this mission, so no more right now. So Strangelove does show up there. Interesting. Now, we do want the sneaking suit, but we're going to swap back to normal stuff here. Like that. Let's take a look at the battle dress real quick. How did I not notice it before? It looks so funny. Like the resolution, like, it's okay, but looks a little blocky. I mean, I get it's like ceramic armor or something, I'm sure, but...
Combat. Stealth. 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 Survival. 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 Let's rock. Let's rock. Let's rock. Tuxedo. Survival. Let's rock. Stealth.
Just wanted to hear all those. I don't think there's gonna be any more right now. Alrighty. Let's finally go. Oh, let me get my headphones on and stuff. Chapter 5, Outer Heaven. The game did say it'd be continued in this chapter.
Find Zadornov and bring him back here with Fulton Recovery.
I'm only 22%.
Can't be imagining things.
It's wild. What's making that noise? Someone else moving around? Oh, I just thought about something. So there's an earlier mission where there was a sniper on a ledge I couldn't get to. There was like an S rank. And I did see, when I watched that video of someone doing the Peace Walker fight, they unlocked something after that. I was like, whoa, I didn't know about that. It was like Fulton rounds for the Gustav, I think. And it had me just now thinking about it, where...
Fulton Recovery helicopter is complete.
Alright, sorry. It had me thinking about it just now, where if there were some guy unreachable, you could do stuff like that to get them. I think there were other Fulton rounds as well that they had. And I think the reason they were able to get those, and I didn't get them, is because they were doing co-op stuff, and they were getting people... It was a stream, you know, and they have a lot of followers, a lot of viewers and stuff. So they had people just like, I'm gonna send you, you know, super good dudes and stuff. 'Cause that's how it works, right? But we don't want to go that way. Dude, it's hard to see. So that's gonna go there, which we don't really want to go. I think I recognize where we're at. Maybe. Maybe. There goes the sound cutting out. I don't know what it is with this game. This game is weird. Hit him right in the taint. Damn. I should have just walked up to him. Even this is quiet, yeah. So 3 is still good enough. What's your deal, buddy? You're not that great. You're just a food guy. So it wouldn't be the worst to take him. I think we still have plenty of room in the food section. You can fire people.
Fulton Recovery sub...
I don't want to do that. I just noticed that was cut off at the bottom. Loading point. I think it might be that I just walked too quickly. I'm wondering if the way I have my capture set up was cutting off part of the screen. That's what I was curious about. I don't think it is. I think we're fine. The way loading point on the bottom right will be a... Yeah, no, it's good. That's the very bottom of the screen. Okay. We're fine. Damn it, I should have just snuck up on him.
Can't be imagining things.
He's gonna pass out in a moment, though. He went back to that automatically. That got a little goofy. Definitely take you. So, the Fulton rounds and stuff are also another way that you could
is complete.
you could actually get more people. Because it had a limit of like 100 per mission. And I was like, how are you ever going to get 100? It doesn't let you get more Fultons. That's how, because they're rounds, you might be able to get more. I'm not sure, but maybe. Maybe I'll get them at some point. Dude, why is everyone food?
Check any out-of-the-way spots. I have a sneaking suspicion Zadornov's around there.
Well, the game's already told me where the goal is at. So I'm just going towards the goal. Oh, okay, so yeah, things are cut off at the bottom, but that's because it's shifting the map. I saw that earlier, I was like, oh, some text is cut off. No, it's just shifting the whole map. That's not a bad thing in this case. No, I'm hungry. I gotta get a quick workout in after stream. And then I've got a show. Get you in the wiener.
Guess not.
Well, that sucks.
Someone's firing at us. Going to alert status.
Understood. Maintain heightened alert.
Freeze.
Music kind of bumping right there. That alert goes down quick.
Come in, HQ.
This is HQ.
This is patrol. All clear.
Understood. Stay vigilant.
There it goes. It's like I know I can get him.
Freeze.
Yeah, he's not worth it. This guy, on the other hand, is worth it. Cool. Can I hit him? No?
There's only so many places to hide. Search every nook and cranny.
Alright, so there he goes. Why is he in there?
Someone's firing at us. Going to alert status.
Understood. Maintain heightened alert.
What?
We'll wait a little bit. He's going the other way, so we're fine. Yeah, we're fine. I was gonna say we'll wait a little bit and make sure he doesn't notice that other guy and get him up.
Freeze.
I wish these guys would give you Fultons and stuff and suppressors.
HQ.
Did he pass up?
What's wrong?
Oh my god.
What's going on over there?
Son of a bitch. Are you sending more guys or not? I was hearing some noises, but I don't.
Check any out-of-the-way spots.
Yeah, I don't think they're people.
Suspicion Zadornov's around there.
It is hard to see. I don't think we can go in there. Alright, so I think we've checked all this over here. We need to go get that guy that just passed out. I hear that.
Freeze.
All right, how you looking? It's okay. I was thinking about it and then I just went for it. I was thinking about tapping him again. Who are you?
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
It's like, who are you, dude? He's excited. Oh, don't go this way.
That area is not part of the mission.
My bad. So, maybe I do need to go to the river. Because nobody's over here.
There's only so many places to hide. Search every nook and cranny.
At least as far as I can tell. Alright, let's go back. It's a good thing I've taken care of everybody. Yeah, so maybe I need to go to the river and stuff. There's not really a lot of hiding places.
Stay out of the water. That's beyond the scope of this operation.
What are those? There's logs? Play some Frogger? Yo, Frogger's the shit. I remember on PlayStation back in the 90s, I think. I mean, there wasn't a lot of PlayStation stuff in the 2000s. You had Centipede and Frogger. Like, they were modern versions of those games. Frogger was really cool. Like, I really, really liked it. It had these really cool 3D worlds where you would kind of do Frogger mechanics, but it was so different. It was like a mixture of what, you know, OG Frogger is, but at the same time, it was kind of like those collectathon games in the 90s, right? Like your Banjo-Tooie, Banjo-Kazooie kind of stuff, where you'd collect things in every... Okay, so we do have two guys. You would collect things in like every world. There'd be like X amount of dudes, of things to collect.
Freeze.
So I remember you had to collect like flies or something because you were a frog and you'd eat them. It was a lot of fun. He's not worth it. Is there another one up here? I know there has been in the past.
Check any out-of-the-way spots. I have a sneaking suspicion Zadornov's around there.
Give me that smoke grenade. Not really exciting.
Freeze.
It's really a shame that we have these co-op mechanics in a PSP game, and we don't really have them in, you know, it's not like a big open world sandboxy kind of game where I think we could take the most advantage of it, you know. It's tied to short and sweet missions. But it is cool how it's these persistent maps where each player could be in a different part at the same time, working on the same mission. There's some cool features to it. I just think it's a bit of a shame that we didn't get to do more with this.
Seeing things. I'm seeing things.
There was a guy back there, but he left.
Whoa. I think I see someone.
Freeze.
I'm seeing
All
things.
right, what do we have? Nope. Maybe he's in that building right there.
Freeze.
That's a no. Haven't seen the other enemies yet. I feel somewhat safe.
Search every inch of that area.
Oh, something red just popped up on the map, I think. Sure. We don't have that much in the way of medical team.
Fulton recovery helicopter is complete.
So we heard a prisoner. Okay, I thought I saw something red, but it would have been this way, and there's nothing here, so whatever. Not up there. Yeah, you would have already spotted me. Maybe it's just the prison. Yeah, see, it's happening.
Freeze.
It's happening from like 2 different directions, though. Like there is a dude somewhere. But it's in the building. It's the prisoner. Even though they're like not making any noise. Oops. Not trying to analyze you. I'm just trying to extract you. Alright, so no more Fultoning, basically.
About that area. Keep looking.
You can go up top.
Freeze.
Damn.
Steal all your shit. So you actually have to Fulton him, so if I screwed up and used my last Fulton, it's too bad.
Okay, you're done with that area. Head for the goal.
Alright, where's the goal? Is it on another map? Oh, it's right here.
You did it. Keep
Good thing we saved one that wasn't in my inventory. Doorknob. I mean Zadornov. Okay. Soliton radar. Yes.
So, you found me.
It wasn't hard. What are you up to anyway?
That's what she said. Wasn't hard.
Going for a stroll.
Kaz, I've got Zadornov returning home.
Acknowledge, Snake. There's something I need to discuss with you, boss.
Get to the point.
Here comes that part of the
Kaz.
soundtrack that sounds like a turn signal.
Warhead that was loaded onto Peace Walker from the bottom of Lago Kosibolka.
Okay.
What?
Warheads are radioactive, even if they're relatively stable. If we just left it there, it would contaminate the lake, or fall into the hands of terrorists.
Creating another crisis.
Right. So while the White House is figuring out how to cover its ass, I thought we'd take some precautions.
What did you have in mind?
Load it onto Zeke.
What?
What else would we do with it? Zeke is our deterrent. To protect ourselves from nuclear attack, we need a nuclear weapon ourselves. Of course, if you're not on board, we could always dispose of it. But it won't be easy getting another nuke. This is a golden opportunity. We could always get rid of it later. Load it onto some fishing boat and leave it out in the middle of the ocean. No one would ever know it's there. But if you want to get rid of it, boss, we'll get rid of it.
No, don't. As long as there are nukes out there, we need one ourselves if we're going to be a world power.
I knew you'd see it that way, boss. So as long as we stand apart from nations, we need something to put us on equal footing. In a way, MSF is a country itself. And we just became the world's 7th nuclear power.
Nuclear power.
But who actually knows about it, right? I like that AI storage. It's really hard to read, but it says AI storage. And I wonder if that's actually how many I have. I think that's actually what it is. Collect additional boards to improve AI's capabilities. God, that is hard to read. Okay. Bolton rank 4, hell yeah. All right, now we'll go right back in here. Not to... Don't know what's wrong with me. All right, we'll take plover, wombat, meadow, whatever, weasel, goldfinch, mammoth, honeybee. All right, now let's auto assign C4 rank 3, night vision rank 3, love box rank 4, cardboard. Okay, what's the 51? Nice. Nice. Alrighty. Oops. Let's head over here. I probably should have waited on that. Wait, Soliton is not here, so I can't do it yet. I think I could theoretically do it, but I don't have the, Okay, I just need Intel team. Do we have crappy people we could put on the Intel team? Well, not crappy people, but... Dude, why do I keep going to the wrong thing today? Not crappy people, but... Do we... So, like, some of these people are best at R&D, but they're not really what we need for R&D. Like, we have better people. So we could still put 13 more here. Any of these that are decent at Intel, like you. And you. Can I sort? Sort mode start. Okay. What do I need again? We'll just keep putting people. $40. $41. Wait, it went down, didn't it? Why? I'm a little confused. I swear we have 41. It said +1, didn't it? What do we need for this? We need 41. Can I unsort? Okay, whatever. So, yeah, they have no intel experience at all. So we're not gonna hit 41. Okay, good to know. It's still out? It's not out, it's just it's just in here, it's not actually out doing anything. Just do it. Might as well. We haven't done that one yet. It's not an S, so it's not an S+. I don't have to worry too much about losing anything. Alright, so now nothing is happening, so we have to just go do stuff until something happens. Because that's how it is. What would be a really easy one? I mean, we could do pupa.
Commencing mission.
This should get us through, right? I want that Soliton radar bad. Hopefully we get some intel guys here. I'm not skipping because I just wanted to see the vehicle and stuff. But now we're gonna get the white loading screen, I think. Just gonna close my eyes.
No need to take out the armored vehicle just yet. Neutralize the troops first.
Is it gonna be one where
They're
they
trying to find you. Make sure they don't.
where they like start busting down doors and stuff?
The enemy's attacking! Going to alert status!
I had to find that last one. Depends on how they move. I might need to pop that last one a second time because there was a big delay. In about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nope.
Go investigate.
Roger.
That'll work. Because the guy in back will fall first. Beautiful. No! I didn't do it. Alright, let's listen. No! I actually want to restart. I wasn't paying attention. So, Fulton upgrade is now causing them to drop items when I Fulton them. I like that a lot.
No need to take out the armored
Like a whole
vehicle
lot.
just yet. Neutralize the troops first. They haven't seen you yet. Perfect. Now's your chance.
Alright. Rapid fire. I don't know how they don't see me. Bunch of dummies. I was not paying attention to that thing. I don't... cause where it's spinning the turret, it spotted me, right? Go investigate.
Go investigate.
Roger.
Love it.
What is it?
See right there? Yeah, don't get caught by that. I heard that sound a minute ago when I did the first Fulton. I was like, an item sound.
Is complete.
That's not what we normally hear, is it? Nope.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
We gotta be a little careful. That saves so much time. But you might still be able to pat them down for 4 things. And still do the Fulton like that. I don't want to be in its line of sight. Am I hearing something moving? Can't get the other one. They all made the same sound.
The enemy's attacking. Going to alert status.
I need to be ready to pop this. I think it's this guy. Or I might have mixed him up with the other one. Oh, that's perfect. There's a big delay there again, so it depends on how they fall. No, we're good. Come on, let me Fulton the vehicle.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
That'd be pretty absurd though, wouldn't it? Yo, what's going on, Jaeger? How goes it? Keeping up with that pickleball, aren't you? Waiting on it to pop out some more dudes. Give birth! Is it happening? Just got home from some. On to another session. You're wild. Hopefully that's the last ones, because I'm out of Fultons. I'll be able to get all 4 of those and then I'm out. I'm gonna get a quick workout in after this stream, and then I've got a show. Quick workout and shower, of course. I ain't going to the show smelling like that, all nasty. Don't stop. Now, just ignore the ceiling here. Fultons work just fine indoors. No concern.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
All right, now let's see what happens. Is it commander time or more backup?
Roger. What is it? Enemies close by.
No!
Enemy sighted. Engaging now.
All right, we're going for it.
Go around.
It's too late now. They just blew his dude up. They blew their own dudes up. Oh, he... Oh, ow. Yeah, that got a little bit rough there, unfortunately.
Go around.
It's okay, we'll just have to repair the vehicle. It's a shame I don't have more Fultons, though. I was kind of looking around a little bit for some. Because we have gotten some before in the middle of a mission, but it was a story mission where we had to fight that chopper. No, he's booking it. You're gonna have to calm down. Let's get us some supplies.
They're sending out a cardboard box as we speak.
I don't want to blow the dude up. No! Oh, that dude's getting up. Oh, I thought he got blown up. Never mind, he's still getting up. Oh, that dude's out again. Come on, bro. More backup. That's got to be it, because it was only 2 guys. Unless it's because there's still 2 out, though. Oh, I thought I switched. Oh, that cover's no longer any good, is it? Don't do it, don't do it. Oh, are people busting down doors? What was that sound? Is Commander ever gonna pop out? I can see another dude walking around, and maybe it's hard to. No, this is the vehicle. Ah, see, I blew it up. Yeah. Do I get the vehicle now, or is it just completely dead? That wasn't good. I'll have to redo that one later. There's a lot of dudes. Wow. Yeah, it wasn't good. I didn't get any kills. But yeah, we don't get the vehicle. RIP. Maybe we get some intel, guys, though, and I can get that Soliton radar started. Ready for development. Why was it not ready before? I don't care. I'm gonna go start it now. I'm not gonna touch anything, basically. I'll start it and then I'll come back in a minute. Ooh, it is expensive. No analyzer right now. Lucky we can do that. Wow, really? That was decommissioned from one fight, it was at full health? Yeah, I'm starting to not like these. That's too much. It's too grindy. Zeke is okay. That chopper almost died. We had him super outranked, and that still happened. Alright, let's go in here. Let's auto-assign. What do we need for the, Hush Puppy? We're still a ways off, I think, but I'm curious. Okay, 13 ranks there, 14 and 12. That's bad. I'm not going to be getting that on this playthrough, I don't think. On the streams, on the videos. I don't know if I'll keep playing on my own time or not. I might. It's fun, but it's very grindy. And it's not really going to do me any good to keep going. Is there anything in here? I mean, I know I probably can't afford it, but just curious. Alright. Well, let's go do something else now. Another tank. Date with pause? What? Isn't she a little young for you, dude?
How's Paz doing?
Okay so far. Still shocked about being lied to by Zadornov, but she's actually getting along great with the crew here at Mother Base.
Really? That's good to hear.
Still, it's gotta be depressing for a girl her age to be cooped up on an offshore plant all day, even if it is only temporary. I bet she'd love it if you took her out somewhere once in a while.
Okay. Items needed, something Paz would like. No lethal weapons allowed. Oh my god, wait.
Tuxedo.
Totally we can. Are you serious? I can't take anything here. Alright, we're going with that, I guess. What is this? It's not raining here for once. Hello. CQC? I don't think that's what I want to do, is it? Can I drop one, like, if it hits her, will she pick it up? No. How does this work? Wait, one of them disappeared. Yeah, some of them disappeared. What the fuck? What? What? Hi. I don't know what to do now, but I don't like this. I'm running away. What? Why would you just do that? Bruh. That was worse than Johnny. Like, I mean, Johnny was pretty bad with Mei Ling, but what the fuck? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I might cancel. I'm scared to try it again, but I want to try it again. No, no, don't do that! I'm literally, like, pressing every button trying to do something different. I don't understand.
Room for one more?
Oh, no. No, don't.
Over already?
What? What? Affinity? What? Pause affinity? There's like relationship stats? What the fuck is happening? What is this game now? Oh my god, I don't know what to make of any of that. I can get a better box now. I'm just gonna kind of act like that didn't happen and we're gonna move on with our life. But I have to see what else is in here now. Gear retrievals, whatever. Base defense. Some more Fulton recoveries, those will be good to do. Alright, I think I can go in here and do like the pupa battle. We're running out of time though. Please say it didn't jack up his loadout. Okay, good, good. But then the battle's gonna be empty. Yeah.
Stealth.
Surround, analyzer, Fulton, binos.
Combat.
I think I can hold one less item. I already do? No, I didn't do binos. I'm still very concerned and bothered by that mission. I was trying to be like normal about it, and I brought food, like I brought tea and stuff. And the game was like, no, use a box and go inside, and they basically just banged. I don't know how I feel about that.
Stealth.
Hush Puppy Gustav, Supply Mark.
Combat.
Oh, we don't need Hush Puppy. We want, EKM. Gustav, something, Supply Mark.
Stealth.
Grenade, Chef, C4, Strike.
Combat.
I will do Chaff and C4. And what am I gonna put here? Oh! Oh no, I'm on the right thing. Good. Alright, let's go. I think if we replay stuff is what unlocks new missions. We'll find out.
That's an AI weapon. Pupa.
This thing does not want to break. Should put the rations on.
If you destroy the boosters on the left and right, you can stop it from charging at you.
Oh, that was close. Ah, fine, do that. Wait, hit that.
Destroy the machine gun.
Yeah, I'm doing that intentionally. Oh, bad. It turns too quick.
Take those lightning rods out. They deliver electroshock attack.
Alright, PKM. Ow. Yeah, I knew it. Go ahead. No, I don't. Good. Dude, I can't get out. Stop that.
High voltage incoming.
Bad move. Damn it. Tried to roll. I don't feel like the mobility's that different, but it might be affecting me. Because it did tell me that the battle dress is going to be slower, which makes sense. Yeah, I was trying to get a bunch of like attack stuff this time. That's why I'm going for these little turrets. Of course. No need to lock on. No supply that time. Had so much ammo.
Pull out all the AI's memory boards before the pod's ejected. The black memory boards are locked. Go after the boards with icons over them.
Got it. I almost missed it.
You can unlock memory boards by destroying the mechanical components that they control. Any boards you remove can be used to build our own AI weapon. Memory boards have different functions according to the icons displayed over them. Go ahead and take whichever ones you want.
Alright, we're done. No way to skip, I don't think. That did not get me much at all, but it is what it is. Yeah, if I understand correctly, I might not. And if not, I'll figure it out. I'll check. I'll look into it myself, because we're almost done anyway, but if I understand correctly, we need to replay old missions. Just do that, and then it'll unlock new ones. Kind of like last time, I replayed a couple missions and then Zadornov escaped. So this is a quick and easy thing to do, that's why I opted for replaying this pupa battle. Is the Soliton ready?
That was an unmanned.
And we do have to be careful here and make sure I don't skip new dialogue. Because it's going to play old dialogue. And it might also play new dialogue, like the time when it was like, Zadornov escaped. Strangelove's cassette tape 3. Yeah, we're going to have some stuff to listen to at the beginning tomorrow.
The doctor's safe here with us.
That's old.
Huey, how are you?
Some walk units, some leg parts.
Bad news, Snake. Zadornov's on the loose.
What? Again?
It's funny. We took away his prosthetic and did a full body check. We even increased the guard.
You think you had help?
Impossible. Anyway, I'm adding a new mission. Locate and recover Zadornov.
Again. I think we have time to do that. We'll probably wrap up after that, depending on how long it takes. How's that GMP looking? Not bad at all. Let's go do some stuff. Soliton's gonna take another couple missions, it looks like. Let's see. Level 51. I know. We got a volunteer, I don't know what he's gonna be like. I would really love to just cheat all those up really high. I don't feel like grinding it. I just want the stuff. Alrighty. Let's go look for Zadornov again. How do we know where he went? Basic tracking.
Zadornov's disappeared from his cell again. Find him.
Like, how do we know the region?
Stealth.
If we wrap this one up really quickly, I might do a couple Huey tapes, but I don't know, I'm giving myself like 15 minutes before I kind of want to wrap.
Find Zadornov and bring him back here with Fulton recovery.
Freeze.
Let's see how this works, if I Fulton this guy. He's a C. We'll do it. We got 4 items from him already. Will he give us a 5th? No, so he gives you one of the... Seems like 4 is the max.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
Right, there's a dude over here.
I'm seeing things. Freeze. Down.
Seriously? Okay, I might do some tapes then.
I'm seeing things.
I could have snuck up on this guy. Didn't realize it. I thought it was going to be too difficult to sneak up.
Freeze.
Might as well check these 2 guys before we bounce. Hell yeah. I'm sure it'll replace somebody, right? You have to.
Fulton recovery helicopter is complete.
Freeze.
Scan his booty hole. Alright. Take that. Not great, but not horrible.
Search every inch of that area.
Yeah, it would be pretty hard to find Zadornov if he were hiding here. It's a good point, Miller. We should search every inch.
Fulton recovery subject confirmed onboard helicopter.
We'll take him.
Freeze.
So you really ought to do 3 taps. But at that point, it's so fast, you should just go for it. Because when you do them back to back, you do quick taps. What if he actually moves? What if he moves through the area? Actually, no, it looks like we couldn't have traveled that way, so there's only one more screen. I don't know. Oh, he's good at intel. We needed you, bro. You could have been a Chad.
Head for the recovery zone. We'll pick you. I knew you could do it. Piece of cake, right?
Piece of cake. I thought something froze for a second. Yeah, I was like, I hope this isn't S. I took a while to search everybody, but it was still really fast. Oh, that was under 3 minutes? Okay. I mean, that was 3 minutes, basically. Under 3 minutes. By 1 second. Come on, it's 3 minutes. What if there were docs or something?
Kaz, I caught Zadornov.
Impossible. I thought I'd made it. Acknowledged and appreciated.
Okay. Not much there. All right, let's just go in here, just pick the mission, and do a couple tapes just to get them out of the way. I won't have to do them tomorrow. Go for about 10 minutes or so here when we wrap up. Just, again, it's less for me to do tomorrow. And now she has some. She wasn't here earlier, was she? I swear she wasn't here. Interesting.
But you know, there's something I've never been able to figure out. Is the Cold War really a war, or is it really peace?
Doc, what do you...
People called it a Cold War, but I disagreed. Sure, nuclear stockpiles are increasing, threats are multiplying. The US and the Soviet Union have enough power to destroy the human race 100 times over. But nobody's actually being killed. Small-scale conflicts and proxy wars, maybe, but nuclear deterrence has averted another world war. The world's far more peaceful today than it was before. And the breakthroughs we've made in space exploration, thanks to Cold War competition? Fantastic, don't you think?
No. We didn't need to rush into space like that. Going into space may have been mankind's dream, but good people were sacrificed in the scramble.
Maybe so. NASA's definitely got some skeletons in its closet.
Whoa.
Same goes for the nuclear arms race.
He knows about the
Atomic
boss.
testing has killed civilians and exposed thousands to radiation.
Believe me, I know. And now, this. What peace was I trying to protect anyway? The more I think about it, the less I understand.
He knows the boss was sent up into space, and it was not good for her.
Let's speak in hypotheticals for a minute. Say you wanted to make a clone of yourself.
A clone? Paramedic had the same idea. It's science fiction.
I'm just hypothesizing here. Okay, not a clone then. You have any kids?
Nope.
Wife?
I've never been tied down.
Okay then. So, we're still talking hypotheticals. Say you had a son who'd inherited your genes. Someone with the same combat abilities as you. Would you challenge him to a fight?
Not to sound cocky, but I wouldn't want to do that. No telling who'd survive.
I'll bet. You picked up on the Pupa 5000's combat patterns in seconds.
Only with your advice, Doc.
Well, if anybody could learn to do it just by listening, it'd be easy. But you're a born soldier. Yeah, you must have been born with genes geared for combat. Soldier genes, if you will.
Genes geared for combat? I don't care how advanced their research is. You can't blame genes for everything.
Blame genes? You think it's funny?
What?
You think genes have nothing to do with this body I was born with?
I don't know.
Look, that fear of facing someone of equal ability in combat, imagine that on a strategic scale. That's the concept of nuclear deterrence.
I forgot we were listening to nuclear deterrence.
When all sides are armed with the destructive power of nuclear weapons, they'll avoid nuclear war in order to prevent mutual annihilation.
Doesn't sound all that sophisticated to me.
Exactly. It's so simple in principle. But because it's so simple, whether or not it works properly depends on the people involved. In that sense, what we're looking at now is a malfunction in deterrence theory.
Coldman.
You got it. Please, Snake, don't let deterrence die.
Yeah, I forgot this was called nuclear deterrence theory, because we just started talking about clones.
Nuclear deterrence means preventing the use of nuclear weapons in conflicts between states. But what about other situations?
Like what?
Terrorism has been on the rise in recent years, from separatist movements to far-left extremists. What would happen if nuclear weapons fell into terrorists' hands? Without a state, that is, without territory of their own, the chances of having nukes used against them are slim. They have no reason to fear a nuclear strike. Conversely, they have no reason to hesitate to use nukes against their adversaries.
You've got a point. All the ICBMs and strategic bombers in the world amount to nothing against a terrorist group.
Right. Of course, this is all still hypothetical. Countries keep their nukes under tight watch. There's no immediate danger of terrorists getting their hands on them. But the day may come when the proposition of nuclear terrorism makes nuclear deterrence theory a dead letter.
Nuclear terrorism. Interesting.
Well, the question is, from whose perspective? Because are we not... I don't know when this, unlocked, but we now have a nuke. We're not a government or anything. We now have a nuke. So, from some people's perspective, we could be viewed as those nuclear terrorists.
I gotta say, I'm surprised you helped us arm Metal Gear with nukes.
What of it?
Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful and all, but you sure about this? They may be for MSF self-defense, but they're still nukes. It's essentially the same thing as Peace Walker, which you despised.
See, that's exactly it.
What is?
You don't hide your motives. You tell the truth. That's what makes you different from those CIA bastards. They lay on the charm, win you over. And then, when things get hairy, they turn their backs on you.
I'm just telling it like it is.
Which is why I get the feeling that you wouldn't be stupid enough to use them. Okay, I'll come out and say it. I trust you.
You give me too much credit.
You think so? Besides, there's more uses for bipedal locomotion technology than weapons. We make it small enough, and it could have applications in robotics and prosthetic limbs. Maybe one day I'll even be able to walk.
Nice thought.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I want to stand on my own feet, be master of my own fate, and I'll use your strength to help me do it. If you don't mind, of course.
Nah, it's a fair enough deal.
Thanks. People can change, I know. But I trust you, Snake. I trust you to be the guy I know now.
Wonder... I don't think we'll get through all of these. I think there's going to be too many. But I feel like we're making decent time.
Snake! You have to stop Peace Walker from launching that
Oh
nuke.
shit.
Calm down. What do I need to do?
I feel like we've heard
To tell you
this.
the truth, I don't really know. The mammal pod has probably enhanced both its thought patterns and mobility. The S-mines, rockets, flamethrowers, they're all the same, but I don't know what else to say. You'll just have to stay sharp and watch for how it behaves before each of the attacks.
I feel like this is what he said
I'll
during
give
the
it a shot.
fight.
There's no time for anything else.
Sorry I can't be more helpful. You can do it, Snake.
Oh, we had that line earlier. Where he's like, I've been telling people to call me Snake, but they still call me Boss. It goes back to what I said before. He clearly has like some trauma and stuff around that name. He doesn't like being called that. I still don't like calling him Snake. I get it as a character, but it bothers me.
Snake, how much do you know about the U.S. Homeland Air Defense Network?
I don't know much about what goes on up in the sky. What I do know is that NORAD tracks Santa Claus on its radar.
Nice one. I didn't know you were a comedian, too.
Huh? No, I'm serious. It's true, NORAD tracks his... Listen to me. Every December they set up a hotline and...
Okay, I get it.
He's real, I tell ya. He used to bring me presents and...
Okay.
Okay, Snakey. As all good little boys know, keeping tabs on Santa Claus is a very important job for NORAD. But they also have another mission. The one they were created for. And the system they set up for that has been hijacked by cold.
Well, not anymore.
You mean Peace Walker's fake data transmissions?
NORAD's early warning system is composed of DSP satellite-mounted infrared sensors and an array of surveillance radar stations across North America. The network sends out warnings to NORAD at Cheyenne Mountain, where the data undergoes human evaluation. Peace Walker, on the other hand, has to make its retaliation decisions autonomously. So it's set up to automatically receive the same data as NORAD through covert channels. Those channels were also used on the test platform to telemeter the AI's decision-making. Peace Walker reversed the system to transmit a fake warning about incoming nuclear missiles outside the usual exercise schedule. I mean, the system could have used better safeguarding. Nobody's going to argue with that. But cracking the AI? That seemed unimaginable. And you can see what happened.
All right. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
You ever see the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey?
I'm afraid I can't do that, Hal.
Fantastic flick. The outer space special effects are incredible enough.
Dave.
But the depiction of AI is what really stands out.
There's an AI?
Yeah, a spacecraft pilot AI called Hal. It plays a major role in the story. Dr. Strangelove loves it too. Did I ever tell you about the time we first met up in Costa Rica?
No.
You know how she hates men, right? So we hadn't seen each other since NASA, and we just weren't hitting it off. Until we started talking about Hal, and then she started going off. The way she talked about it was so intellectual. The way she analyzed every plot detail, how passionate she was about the AI. It made me fall for her all over again.
Yeah.
You know what? Here's to Hal for bringing her and me closer together. You should ask her about 2001 too. Then you'll understand just how amazing she is.
Amazing, huh?
Hal. Now there's a good name.
I was about to say it. Do you think that's where Hal Otacon got his name from? Interesting. About himself. Interesting. Yeah, I should have said that instead of, I should have said Huey, though. I'm afraid I can't do that, Huey. Because I know it's Dave, but I know the AI is Hal, but I was kind of going for the reference, but I mean, that's not Hal, that's Huey. Doesn't matter that they look like identical. And they have the same voice actor and everything. We're right about where I want to leave, but these are so close to being done with these at the same time. But I feel like this is going to open up more. That seems too little about himself. So we'll save that. We're gonna have a lot of Strangelove ones to go through. 2001: A Space Odyssey. So we're gonna have a lot of those to go through, and we're gonna have a good handful of these to go through. So that'll be the start of next session. No pun intended with the word session popping up right as I was saying it, but that'll be the start of next session. We'll catch up on everything remaining, which might take like another hour, and then we'll continue on with the process of replaying like Pupa and Chrysalis, probably because they're quick and easy. We'll replay those to unlock new missions and rinse and repeat, I guess. That's probably going to be what the rest of the game is like, I think. But I think we'll be able to finish it up tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's going to be terribly long. None of the chapters have been terribly long. I think, you know, the most is going to be focusing on getting the initial, I want to call them codec calls, but tapes or whatever out of the way. Alrighty, so that is it for this session. Thank you to anyone who showed up, whether you were lurking or chatting. I do appreciate it. Let's see, what is the outro? I guess just, you know, Metal Gear. I've been replaying all the mainline Metal Gear Solid games. That only leaves 5 after this, Metal Gear Solid 5. I might go back and actually play Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2, I'm not sure, but this is happening on Saturday and Sunday, usually at about 10 o'clock Central. So I will be back, as I said, tomorrow with more of this, probably wrapping it up. I really hope I'll probably go overtime to wrap it up if I need to, because that'll let me start 5 on Saturday next week and then play it 2 days in a row rather than finish this game on Saturday and then start a new game Sunday and have to wait all the way until Saturday. I hate that. You know, I like being able to start on Saturday so I get 2 days in a row. Used to be I streamed every day. I'm still keeping it back from that. You know, I would like to work some more in, but I've started working out again. I'm trying to take better care of myself, not just working out and all that. Mentally, I'm dealing with some stuff, getting better, but I don't want to overdo it with the streams and everything right now. So we're just going to focus on this game. I'm not going to be bringing back the other days right now. So we're going to be doing this Saturday and Sunday, wrapping up the whole Metal Gear Solid series and see where it goes from there. So if you like Metal Gear Solid, you want to catch more of this, go ahead and hit that follow button. You can also head on over to YouTube, or if you're watching this in YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, congrats on being in the future. These videos go up 2 weeks after they're live here on Twitch. And while you're over there, I'd appreciate if you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. I do read and respond to comments. And that's about it. You can also follow me on Twitter. I tweet when I go live. That's usually the most of what I'm doing over there. But it's another way to see when I go live. I think that about covers it. Like I said, I gotta go work out, get a shower and stuff, and got a show tonight. So it's gonna be a interesting day tomorrow. I've been doing the thing, like I said, I'm trying to take better care of myself in a lot of ways. One of them being the sleep schedule, better sleeping. And the thing is, go to sleep at the same time every night, wake up at the same time every day. Sometimes you can't do that. Hard to do that when you're at a show. So I'll be getting back a little bit late, and then I will still get up at the same time tomorrow. So I might be a little tired, but you know, we'll just try to adapt to it, try to work with it. In the past, when I did this back in 2017, I got really good at it, going to bed at the same time, waking up at the same time. So much that my body naturally started waking up at that time. Even when, you know, one night I remember we went out to the bar. We got back at like 3:30 or something. And I still woke up at the same time as always because my body was just like, all right, it's time to wake up. And I didn't feel tired or anything. It was a one night thing. You know, if you do that multiple nights, it'll start to catch up to you. But a one night thing, it was like, all right, it's time to get up. You're just going to be up and awake now. It's wild. So I'm trying to get back to that. All right, though. Like I said, that is going to be it. We'll pick back up here tomorrow, and probably I'm gonna say we're gonna beat the game. I'm sure, unless something real weird, real funky happens, we're gonna beat the game tomorrow, and then next Saturday we'll be moving on to 5. That's the plan. So until next time, until tomorrow, have a good day, have a good night, whatever it is, wherever you're at, take it easy.
You must continue your mission.
NANI?